Clobberin time!
What's wrong with this? Sorry about having glitchy problems. Let's try this again. I hate this thing. Oh my God. So sorry everyone for being so late and being so glitchy and annoying. Sorry about that. Well, I don't mind being annoying. I gotta admit I like doing that, but
he should be sorry. He spent the day with hot chicks and walking around looking at merch. He was a boss all day. And then he got caught in traffic. But he freed himself. He clobbered through it. And now we're here for Saturday Night Star Trek.
Listen, you keep pushing me. I'm going to embarrass you in front of everybody. I got some embarrassment fuel right here. You're going to make me use it on you. Who votes for me to embarrass Raquel right now?
I'm frightened. Hold on, just wait a second. I have to hide under my desk.
To start out Saturday Night Star Trek for 2023. Welcome everybody away. And by the way, we'll get all that business. Who would like for me to embarrass Raquel right out the box for 2023?
Oh God, they're all do it.
Okay, I think we'll do it. It's not much of an embarrassment, but yes, I was at a con today, and I have a filth story, but we can get to that later. I wanted to send this to you unless you have to open it up in the mail.
What?
But you might go nuts. In this way, you'll see it in front of everybody. I want to give you this present, everybody. You're about to get it in the mail.
What?
See, I told you you're embarrassed.
Oh God. Get out of here! Holy! Oh my God! Where did you got that at the
It's a
con
pack.
today?
You betcha.
Oh my God! It's beautiful. Thank you, Clobby.
It's just a patch. It ain't a big deal, but I thought you would be embarrassed about it.
Oh, it's amazing. Now that I have that patch, now guess what I can do? A cosplay. A cosplay.
It will be in your well, if it, again, I'm worried about the way of sending stuff up there because I never know if things are going to show up. But your Christmas card finally show up. Like it showed up about 2 weeks after Christmas, so it might take a while. But it's on.
It took a month.
It took a month. It's crazy. So it might take a while. So I wanted you to know about it in the off chance it actually makes it there because it's going to be sent this week. I'll send it, but I thought you might enjoy that.
How can I ever thank you, Mike? I love you. I love you so much. And now I'm going to do a cosplay with this. Maybe I'll do this submarine cosplay.
We looked and looked for it. So they don't have it. Damn it. Oh and then the third time I looked, I'm like, wait a minute. There it is right there. Because the guy didn't know anything about it. Didn't know what it was, really. I mean, he didn't know he had it because he's got a million fairly obscure, patches and stuff. But I thought you might like that a little bit. And it's on because I told him we're just making the surprise and let you get it in the mail. But I don't try. It can take like forever for the damn mail to show up to you for all I know, because especially something small like that. So I wanted you to know about it. And I wanted
oh my God, I cannot thank you enough. It's so beautiful. I will treasure it. And now I'm going to do some type of cosplay. I have to.
Nice. Well, that's great.
I have to do something from Shadow for sure. And it'll be sexy. It's going to be good. I'm so excited.
Well, there you go. And
I got UFO!
You got a UFO thing. Everybody, welcome to the first show of Saturday Night Star Trek for 2023. This is, of course, Saturday Night Star Trek number 100.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's right. And we're about to say our hellos and everything. First, let's see here. Any show notes? Nah, I guess I don't have any show notes. I can't think of anything other than big shout out to Nick and the gang. Had a great time hanging out with those fellers at the I'm being pinged. I need to turn my stupid phone off. I hate when that happens, even though it's helpful because I needed to see it. Oh, thank you.
I can't believe I have a UFO patch.
I wanted to give you something to be excited about, but
sparkly, shiny things. Now I can't concentrate.
That's okay. I ruined your concentration.
I love you.
I'm sorry, did I break your concentration? So, yes, what was it? I had something for you, and I've totally lost it. Oh, okay. Tomorrow night I hope that will be the first show of 2023 for the Sunday Night Geekery for Mark D with a C's great channel. So yes, hopefully we'll be geeking out tomorrow night on Sunday night. Let's hope so. And I had a great time with Dad Man the other night, our good buddy on his channel, talking some football. So anyway, I am my back and everything. I am beaten to death. I'm so beat up today. But
it's not easy to do the con because, it's always a cement floor. And even if it's just 3 or 4 hours, I mean, most of us are there all day, but I mean, it's brutal on the back. It will ruin your back going to the con.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm a mess. Yeah. But anyway, we're going to get through it tonight anyway because it's going to be fun. That's all that matters. Okay. Let's see here. Yes. Let's see here. Brandon, the anime guy.
Hi, sweetheart.
Sent a member chat, member for 3 months. Thank you, Brandon. He says, "Hail, Clobby and friends, DS9 for life, anime for life." Well, it's good to see you there, buddy. We're gonna shout everybody out in a minute, and then Shooter gifted 10 Clobberin Times memberships. Thank you, Shooter.
Shooter. Pew, 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 pew. Look at all of the thank yous. The thank yous are just pouring in. Thank you so much, Shooter.
And thank you so much. Yes, of course. And then, of course, thank you all for being back here for us. I'm so glad to see you all here with us tonight. Where were we? Where were I? Oh yeah, and of course, Clobbering Times. It's issue number 497 on YouTube, 1,197 overall. This coming Thursday night will be 500 on YouTube and 2,000. Excuse me, not 2,000. Listen to me, not 2,000. Right? It'll be
1,200.
It'll be 1,200 overall. So I can't count. And,
oh my goodness, boss! You just received a very generous gift from Gil Cardinalson. Hey, Cardi, he sent you a super sticker. Shall I put it on the marquee?
Hey, Cardinal, sure, I got it. I got you. You can, yeah. Let's see.
Here you go, boss.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate you, Gil. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well tonight. And thank you to the great. Good to see you. Thank you, the great Mark D with a C, for showing me that, helping me out with that, buddy. So, all right, now it's time to do our shout outs. Of course, as always, it's a new tradition. How about that? If there could be such a thing. Our tradition is to show our shout out our wonderful wrenches, whether they're here or not. The great Eric K, the bronze wrencher. Hey, buddy. The great Chris Persia, Vindicator Wrench of the North.
Love you.
D Bud Martin, Wrench of Iron.
D Bud, love you, sweetheart.
I can't see the chat now, so I don't know who is and who is not here. So I'm just, shouting them out. I think I did see the great Lord Thoth here tonight. Avon lives. Long live the Legion. And shout out to the lovely Lady Thoth, my friend. Good to see you. He is the official artist of not only Clobbering Times and Master of Claboni, but the cover artist to the magnificent works of Commander R.M. Briggs' science fiction tales. Yeah. Hungry boy.
Oh, HB. Love you.
That old rascal Phantom Outsider.
Fenty!
The Wrench Without Fear, J-Man.
Yay!
The Super Wrench, Kal-El.
The real soup.
And the Thor Wrench, Mjolnir Wrench, the Thor of Vegas, Maddie's daddy. Good to see you, bro. Appreciate you being here. Let's see. Now I got my shout outs. Let's see if I like to get everyone written down, as you well know, so I'll know who to shout out. And now we're about to do it. So let's see if I missed anybody. All right. I hope I did not miss anyone. So here, away we go. All right. Wait a minute. Check. Just make sure I got all the other ones. The great Mark D with a C is here, of course. The wonderful anti-derivative Jill. I saw her out there somewhere as well. Good to see you, Jill. Crew member, of course.
Yes.
Okay, Shooter's here tonight. Hey, Shooter.
Yeah. You got your pew pew earlier, but I'll give you some more. Pew, 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 pew.
Yes, indeed. Let's see here. Let's see who else. Stuart Mitchell. What is up, my friend? Good to see you.
Dolly had braces.
Indeed. Classic Comics. What is up, my friend?
Nice to see you, Classic Comics.
Yeah, good to see you. Sorry, I was writing some more names down that keep popping in there. So, all right.
Everybody's showing up.
So great to see you all here tonight. Mr. Angel.
Chef.
I hope you're doing well, buddy. Michael Carney. Hey there.
Hey, Michael. Nice to see you. Hope you had a wonderful holiday.
Indeed. Michael Beacom. My friend, hope you and Cassandra are doing well.
Beacums. Welcome. I hope you had a great holiday. Love you guys.
Raymond Feliciano. What's up, buddy? King Dolphin TV. You and Sandra.
King Dolphin TV.
In color. Zathras is here.
Crap.
JT Kirk, buddy. All right. Good to see you.
JT Kirk.
Michelle O'Rourke Johansson. Hey
Hello.
there. And congratulations to you and your family. JD Lewis, buddy.
JD. Good to see you, honey.
Captain Infinity and Beyond. Boosh McFadden.
Boosh!
Hey.
I missed you. Good to see you.
Picasso.
Picasso. Good to see you. Nice to have you here.
Yes, indeed. Dave G. Sound. Captain James T. Skywalker.
Skywalker.
Wolfie.
Oh.
the Catman, aka D.D. Myers,
Catman too.
Brandon, the anime guy, the aforementioned. Good to
Hi,
see you, my friend.
Brandon.
Indeed. Cardinal Sin, aforementioned, also there. Thank you, buddy.
Cardi.
Bubba Doom 1.
Bubba Doom.
DJ Ronnie G.
DJ Ronnie J.
And Paul Listro is here.
Hello, Paul.
I don't think I have anyone else unless I missed someone. So I'll keep a watch out and hope I have not missed anybody. But if I have, just shout out.
Scogly's here.
Oh, I can't see that. I didn't even see him. Scogly. Hey there. Good to see you. I hope you are doing well in this early 2023. So I guess we should get down to business, shall we not? Of course. But first of all, big shout out to all of you out there who listen in lurking mode. If you're lurking, we really appreciate you listening as a podcast, as number one would say, or if on a download or a rewatch, whatever you want to call it. I don't say it enough, but we really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
We do. And when the boss says that, you guys know I have to say this. Don't forget to clobberonimo, the like button. And make sure that you hit the bell so that you know when we're going to be on air, when Clobby's going to have good stuff on, and subscribe and share. Don't forget to share this on your socials, this show and others. It really helps us, and so we would appreciate that.
Indeed. So, okay, what we do here on Saturday Night Star Trek, folks, for 2 years ago, 2 years ago today, I guess, in a sense, or this weekend, whatever, we started reviewing all of what we call real Star Trek. Maybe I shouldn't tell them my filth story today, should I?
Yes, please do. I love it when you tell your filth story.
I'll start out with the filth story. Today I was at a Fan Expo Con in New Orleans. And two of the guests at this con were Anson Mount and what's his name, who plays Pepper Spork, Ethan Peck. I hate all the bad reboot trash. I never look, other than making jokes. I don't hold anything personal against any actors or whatever. I just that's strangled the worms or whatever is not Star Trek.
No,
they might be really nice guys, sure they are, and that's all fine and good. And there were people hyped up. So anyway, we're going to find this place to rest. Now there's this big expanse of chairs where apparently they have some. It's right next to the fan hall. It's kind of weird, but it's where they have panels, I suppose. Well, I didn't know it because it was really they weren't having a panel at the time. So we go sit down, and on these two screens on each side, they got a picture of these two guys in uniform, and it says the word Star Trek. And I was my usual pissed off self, and I was thinking I want to go put the word "not" up there. And anyway, so. Then we found, after we're talking, we're just resting, we need some rest. We found out they're about to do a panel. This woman comes up and announces them. They're about to come on. It wasn't a big, I mean, they were, they did autographs. It wasn't a huge bunch of people there to go see their panel either. It wasn't, it was a fairly decent size, but it's funny how it wasn't like a ballroom or anything like that. It was right with the dealer hall right there, with the exhibition hall. And it wasn't, I wouldn't call it a gigantic audience at all. There were people there. And so I was like, oh my God. I'm not going to repeat myself what I was saying, yelling. No, I didn't walk up on the stage and be mean to anybody or anything like that. I didn't flip anybody off, but I was yelling a little bit. I was like, this is going to ruin my friggin' day. But yeah, I got through it, but it was still a filth story. Thank you, Cardinal Sin. Hail, Clobberin. I'm sorry I was late, especially since this is probably my favorite show on YouTube. Well, you're too kind,
sweetheart. Buddy. What a kind thing to say.
Thank you. Well, let's get away from filth now. What we do basically, folks, is yes, I wanted to give them all my agonizer at that thing. We started reviewing it 2 years ago. Now, of course, we decided to review all of real Star Trek, which is the 735 Club, as Raquel calls it, is Star Trek, of course, the only real Trek that matters, 1966 to 2005. And we started with the original series, moved on to the animated series, the original crew films, Star Trek: The Next Generation, and now we are smack dab in the middle of Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 3.
Yeah.
And we basically will give you a rundown of the synopsis of each of the 4 episodes, and then we'll talk about a little bit what we think about them, review them, and then we'll ask our wonderful chat to give any words they may have and any ratings they have on the particular episodes. 4 episodes a night normally, and we're going to do it all. We're going to do it all the way up to the very end of 2005. So without further anything else, I'm going to turn over the helm to my wonderful first officer, Ms. R.M. Briggs, and she's going to explain, and we're going to get started.
Okay, so there is a text for this show. So it's a vetted text. So I'm from publishing and writing, and I vetted a text for this show. Unfortunately, the text is not conducive to this show format. But if you are looking for facts on this show, please do not turn to IMDb. Please do not turn to like Memory Alpha and these other places. The filth people have worked their way into these mechanisms, and not only are they filled with factoids, just absolute falsehoods in some cases, and just stuff is all over the place. It's a mess. If you're looking for verified content on Deep Space Nine, please turn to a Star Trek Deep Space Nine companion. It's written by Terry J. Erdman, who is the husband of the great Star Trek author who uses original source material in her writing, Paula M. Block. Anytime you can get your hot little hands on a book written by Paula M. Block about Star Trek, do it, do it, do it. She uses original source material. She goes directly to the people who were involved. She gets that information, and it's verified, and she fleshes it out in her books. So rather than using this text, because Terry goes on and on and on, we're unfortunately going to have to use Wikipedia. Now, I don't recommend getting any information from Wikipedia either, but, we're just going to read the plot, the synopsis, the summary of the show. And if it's wrong, we openly correct it together. And sometimes that happens, but it keeps us on track and make sure that, everyone is on the same page as we go into the discussion about the episodes. And speaking of con, that's basically the format of this show, just so you know. We're just talking here. We don't plod through every single scene, dissecting it and deconstructing it and examining it. We don't do that around here. We're just a bunch of old chumps talking about something that we love, and then we draw the chat into our conversation as well. So it's just a collection of nerds talking about Star Trek, and then we grade it just for kicks. And you can do that 1 through 10. You can do it 1 through 5. You can do it A, B, C, D. Everybody around here gives the university grade because I teach college classes, so that's become the norm. So if you're new around here, that's how this stuff goes. And I think everybody's up to date now. So now I'm going to turn the helm back
Before
over
you do
to
that,
the boss.
But I was just going to say good night, J-Man. He may have already gotten out of here. And hello to our good friend, Enigmatic Drop Bear.
Hey, ED, Enigmatic Drop Bear, one of the best reviewers. He is absolutely sensational, great conversationalist. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you had a wonderful holiday. And good night, J-Man. Everyone, please. J-Man, his real name is Jason. He's an author, and he writes really great books, and his wife is an award-winning poet. So if you follow J-Man to Twitter, you'll be able to follow him to his Amazon, where you can purchase his books and his wife's beautiful books of poetry. And so please support our friend J-Man. Heck of a nice guy, a really talented person, fun to hang out with.
Good to see you all here tonight. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And J-Man, always a pleasure, buddy. Okay, how about we get started with our first episode of the evenings? What do you think?
Call it, boss. Call it. Do it!
All right. Our first episode of the evening is Man Bashir.
Our man Bashir. Boss, I have to interrupt. I beg your pardon. Please excuse me, but Mr. Angel has put into the chat, apologies, I must go. If I don't go to sleep, the night nurses will confiscate my phone again. See you on the next. And then he put up a spot. Listen, Mr. Angel, we love you very much. You get well soon. You just rest. We're all here and we're all cheering for you. And those who pray are sending a little prayer. And those who just want to send their love and their support, they're doing that as well. So could we get an MA in the chat or chef in the chat just to boost the spirits of Mr. Angel tonight, who is in the hospital? Thanks, everyone.
Indeed. Chef, be well and feel better. And hello to all your wonderful nurses. I'm glad they're taking care of you. ED, I understand, my friend. I'm sorry it's been a rough couple of weeks there for you. And you be in and out. That's fine. Just great to see. I'm just glad we're getting to see you. That's all. You know, you don't have to review. You don't have to participate unless you want to. We love when you do. I'm just glad we're getting to see you and that you're okay. Because we're just happy to see you back. Because it's been a couple of weeks since we've seen everybody. So
yeah. Good.
Our man Bashir.
Yeah, Our Man Bashir is season 4, episode 9. It is prod code 482. And the reason why I'm saying that is not only to refer to the vetted text that is provided for this show for fact checking, but it's also because on these streaming services, and due to the nature of DS9 and the way that they break up these 2-part and 3-part episodes, on some streaming services, this is also listed as episode 10. So if the numbers aren't adding up for you, that is the reason why. We all watched this for the very first time on November 27th, 1995.
Shout out to those night nurses. And night nurses, we love you. Thank you for taking care of our buddy, Mr. Angel.
Good.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's stay copyright compliant. So I'll mention again that I am reading from Wikipedia, and this is the plot, the summary of this episode, as per all of the user-generated comments on Wikipedia. So let's go. Dr. Julian Bashir is playing a holosuite game in which he portrays a glamorous secret agent in 1964. His friend Eileen Garrick, a former spy, tags along. Meanwhile, the other officers of Deep Space Nine are rescued from the explosion of a runabout by Commander Eddington, who beams them out in the nick of time. The transporter is damaged by the explosion, and Eddington must store their patterns in the station's computer memory. Their physical patterns end up in the computer controlling the holosuite, appearing as characters in Bashir's simulation. Eddington informs Bashir that he can't shut down the program or let the characters die, or else the patterns of the crew members may be deleted. Making matters worse, the holosuite safeties are disabled. Dun, dun, dun! Meaning Bashir and Garrick could be hurt or killed by the game. In the game, a Russian spy, Anastasia, appears with Major Kira's likeness. Anastasia explains that a mad scientist, Dr. Noah, is kidnapping elite scientists. Bashir's orders are to rescue Professor Honey Bear, B-A-R-E. Yes, that's right, B-A-R-E. After escaping the assassin Falcon, Bashir, Garrick, and Anastasia go to a casino to speak to Noah's associate, Duchamp, after a game of Baccarat. Duchamp drugs the trio, knocking them out. They awaken in Dr. Noah's lair on Mount Everest. Noah explains his plan to flood the rest of the world, wiping out the human race except for his kidnapped scientists. He has Bashir and Garrick handcuffed to an underground laser that will flood the chamber with lava in 5 minutes. As the time ticks down, Bashir flirts with Professor Bear, B-A-R-E. That's right, B-A-R-E. And she slips him the key. Bashir frees himself and Garrick, who protests that continuing the simulation is too dangerous. Garrick is about to close the program, potentially killing the other crew members, when Bashir shoots him, grazing him with a bullet. Garrick is knocked out, but impressed. Garrick is shocked but impressed and agrees to continue. They burst into Noah's study, and Eddington tells them he will attempt to rescue Cisco and the others in 2 minutes. They gain time. Bashir hits the button to activate Noah's plan, flooding the Earth. As he had not expected to actually win, the shocked Dr. Noah is still about to shoot Bashir, but before he can pull the trigger, Eddington beams the crew's patterns out of the holosuite. Bashir and Garrick end the program with relief. Garrick commenting that Bashir saved the day by destroying the world.
What the?
Okay, so, boss.
God. I want to say first, thank you, Cardinalson, for purchasing 20, gifting 20 memberships. It's too kind. Thank you, my friend. Hey, Victor Fontaine.
Hey, Vic's here.
Vic is here.
The Crooner has arrived.
So, what the hell? I'm sorry. What is wrong with you?
Okay, so this is our man Bashir. I'm going to throw it over to the captain now. Captain, my captain, mon capitaine. Please tell me, what did you think of our man Bashir? Well,
right now I was just eating some M&M's. Sorry. Let me get that out of the way. I'm sorry. I'm in pain and dying and tired and had filth in my face today. So let's see. First of all, Cardinal Sin says, this is a good example of a fun episode. We're doing reviews later. I'm just kidding. You can do it now. I'm eating M&M, so it's fine. You can do it.
Do you want me to read it?
Yes.
This is a good example of a fun episode based on a ridiculous concept. Let's do a Dixon Hill episode, but we'll base it on James Bond and or their patterns. Yep.
Right. So I actually love the episode. I think it's fun. I mean, look. I'm not saying, like I said, multiple things can be true at the same time. You might need to stop doing the goofball episodes. Once in a while, it's okay, but they really indulge in it maybe a little bit too much. Holodeck stories are always goofy. And this one, at least this one knows it's goofy and doesn't take itself seriously. So I found it to be fun. It's just kind of simple fun. I have no problem. It doesn't make me mad because we know it's, actually, the idea with when they found a better way to put them in holodeck trouble than they usually do, I thought. And then some of the stuff with the whole, the questions about being a spy and all that crap between Garrick and Bashir, actually pretty good, I think. So it's a fun parody. I have nothing wrong with it. I just think if they didn't do this every other week, like the goofball episodes, I would probably be more well disposed for it. But I thought it was fun. I know you don't like it, but it was all right. So I want to know what you think of it, or go with your notes. How about that?
Well, I think it's neither divine nor disgusting, but I will do my notes. And if you're new around here, I've been watching Star Trek for over 45 years. So how I add to the show is by taking down notes while I'm watching it, covering just stuff that I've read, in different books, things that I've noticed about the episodes over the years, rewatching them. So here are my notes that I take with an actual piece of paper and an actual pencil. Here we go. Bashir goes, Reginald Barclay. This is Hollow Pursuits. We have a malfunctioning transporter that is threatening everyone's lives. Ooh, we've never done this before. Everyone gets to act out of character. This is now an old thing with DS9, of course, because they're always getting to act out of character. We have this in their silly Negaverse that I don't even want to talk about, and other episodes. We learn that unlike the protocols on a starship, it is illegal to enter a private or civilian holosuite uninvited. Now, I'm sure that you have read on a lot of these crappy filth boards that, that's a mistake or a goof or whatever. It's not. Because who's in charge of the holosuite here? And obviously we know that it's Ferengi controlled. So, there are different protocols for a holosuite on a starship than there are when you're on a space station and it's being run by a Ferengi. We have James Bond Bashir. This is an episode about transhumanism. And this is one little interesting nugget. We have physical forms dumped into a hollow program. So we have the hollow sweet memory core instead of the pattern buffer, like Scotty. So this is another borrowed concept, right? And why would the computer erase the character? The character's program would be stored. So this is very 1995 because it relies on normie knowledge of computers. So simply stopping something on a computer does not mean that you delete it. This isn't an ICQ chat. My goodness, 1995, what they got away with. Why are the holosuite safeties off? What does that have to do with all of this? They're just trying to heighten the danger, and it's the brain patterns are stored separate from their physical patterns. A lot of people who who highly desire science fiction in their science fiction sort of get drawn out of the story here as they contemplate the mental gymnastics for excusing a brain pattern being separate from the physical form due to the way that the transporter works or is supposed to work, how we hope in the future it will work. Rom says that his gear isn't designed to work with Starfleet materials, so he says this to Eddington, but he already had an LCARS rigged to Quark's stuff in the spatula scene. So the spatula scene happens like 2 scenes before. So why is this said? You can clearly see an LCARS in the spatula scene. So it's dumb that this is said. This is sloppy. And, Ronald D. Moore is always, everyone's always hailing him as somebody who, saved Star Trek or that he's awesome and blah, blah, blah. Well, here, Avery Brooks's overacting here is so cringy. I gag and leave the room. And so that is all I have in my notes about our man Bashir.
But it was kind of supposed to be on his case. He rose to the challenge there. I say that much. I still think it's fun. I mean, again, it's not one of my favorite episodes or anything like that. And one of the things that, again, I do think one thing I'll say, and by the time we got to Voyager, I really started getting sick of overuse of holodeck stories.
Yep.
I was already kind of done with them with TNG. And so it's like, it's almost, they felt like they were obligated to have one for DS9.
Yep.
Because you have one, I mean, I don't know how many times they did it on TNG. They figure, well, we can't, look, we're not making that show anymore. It's been, a whole year since we've had a holodeck story? Mm-hmm. But I still found it to be pretty funny and entertaining and dopey. So, and again, some of the stuff between Bashir and Garrick is really good. Some of the character stuff when they're talking about the spy business and stuff like that. When Garrick is telling him what it's like to be a real spy, I thought some of that stuff was pretty good characterization things. And as far as the actors all being over the top and playing around, again, fine for a little fun and games, but that just goes to show you that they just didn't have anything better to do. Let's do another transporter episode. So I don't know. I kind of liked it. But anyway.
The only thing I like about it is that all of the women get to be sexy. I thought that was great. I loved the way that Bashir described these women with multiple parchments and genius level IQs, and they're all incredibly sexy. So I liked that Bashir's Reginald Barclay, his hollow pursuit, is not an empty-headed woman who is simply just, all legs and boobs. He chose women that are not only beautiful, incredibly sexy women, but also genius level IQs and more than capable of kicking his butt in any astrophysics or whatever have you. So I really, really enjoyed that part of this episode, but that's all that's good about it. I know the filth people don't like this episode because they don't like the ladies and the way they're portrayed here. I think it's I think the way that the ladies are portrayed here is really, really cool, and I really, really like it. And like I said, when you butt it up against Reginald Barkley and Hollow Pursuits, where he was this beautiful, awkward nerd who had no idea how to relate to women, and so he tried to make their temperament something that he could deal with. Like he doesn't have any skills, like social skills. And here we see Bashir championing women by making them the end all, the be all, and capable of everything and anything, and looking smoking hot. So loved that part. And so that's all I have to say.
I hear you. Before we rate it, thank you, Gil, for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. You're too kind. He says, they shouldn't have used the holodeck at all in Voyager in the way if they were stranded in the Delta Quadrant, but the Captain Proton. Yeah, I did like the Captain Proton. Yeah, I do like the Captain Proton stuff. Yeah, but other than that, that was irresistibly fun. But I'm with you. So yeah, look, the holodeck, them having stories about that once in a while is not all that terrible because it is part of life in the 24th century. But
it is.
It's tough to write. You have to write it malfunctioning every time for it to be part of a story.
And the safety's being off every single time. It's
right.
Just...
But I don't know. It was fun. I can't help it. But anyway.
And remember that Gene Roddenberry was friends with the guy who actually invented real holosuites, like real holo technology that we're going to take into the future with us. So this whole idea that entire programs would be deleted if they were shut off is duh. So I just I can't help it. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
So what is your rating of our man Bashir?
We have some sexy genius women that are just geniuses. They're sexy. It's so much fun, these ladies. But there's just too much duh. So I give it a C+.
Okay. I give it a B. I found it a fun, diversionary episode. I thought it was actually some if you're going to reuse the holodeck trope, it pretty much is that now. It's a trope with this modern Star Trek. At least be entertaining at it, because there are a lot of them that they didn't do a very good job of being fun. At least if you're going to be fun, and this one is for me. So I liked it. Again, it's not what I always want out of Star Trek or even Deep Space Nine. So it's not like I'm giving it a high rating, but I give it a B for being solid fun. Mm-hmm. Okay, so everyone, now I will ask you for you to please come across with any rating you have and any words you may have about man Bashir. While I'm doing that, our good buddy Michael Beacom, who could not be here tonight, sent me his thoughts on tonight's episodes. And while you're all doing that, and Raquel is starring those, I will read his words. This is from Michael Beacom, folks. His review. He gives it an A. He says another holodeck episode with A and B plot and magic transporters. I should hate it, but I loved it. The A and B plot actually blended by the end, unheard of in TNG. The computer memory issue shows even the 24th century storage isn't infinite. And I love that the other personnel than our main characters were also technically competent and belong there. Companion page. I've got to move my screen closer. 294. We've been waiting for someone to come up with a holodeck story that is uniquely DS9 for years, says Ira Bear. Pitched by script assistant Ron Gillen. Page 294. Ron Moore came up with the idea of making it a 60s spy adventure because Bashir is friends with Garrick, a spy. Personally, I loved that Garrick became indignant with Bashir's fantasy. I was waiting for him to echo Indy's father in Last Crusade. You call this espionage, which is paraphrasing, you call this archaeology? Anyway, I love kiss the girl, get the key. They didn't teach us that in the Obsidian Order. Yeah, that was Moore cites Man from U.N.C.L.E., The Wild Wild West, Our Man Flint, and Matt Helm as inspirations. On the same page, Erdman states that MGM UA were not happy with how Bond it got, so later spy eps were more generic. Additional trivia: this episode was 2 years before Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery. That's from the great Michael Beacom, folks, and we appreciate that. Let's see. What do we have here? Start with some reviews. Cardinal Sin, thank you for the $20 super chat, buddy. You're too kind. He says, Tracy Torme created the holodeck and the Dixon Hill character in TNG. And then in the second season, a producer got in his face and he said, up yours, I quit. Wow. Which he did on all of the shows he worked on, including Sliders. Wow.
That's not true.
What?
That's not true.
What?
Tracy Torme did not invent the holodeck or make the holodeck. That's not true.
I think he wrote I think he just means he wrote that first episode with Dixon Hill.
Okay, but just like the way that it's worded, everyone should know that Tracy Torme did not invent the holosuite or the holodeck.
Right, there was a holodeck on the animated series.
Yeah, and Gene Dolgoff was friends with Gene Roddenberry, and Gene Roddenberry went and visited him in 1973. And the first holosuite, the first holodeck, was on TAS, and it was called a rec room.
Right.
And he was totally inspired by what Gene Roddenberry was totally inspired by Gene Dolgoff's invention. So I'm not saying that Cardinal Sin is implying that. I'm just saying the way that it's worded, it appears as though he is attributing the invention of the holosuite or the holodeck to Tracy Torme, which is patently false.
Well, that would be Gene
Dolgoff, and it would be Gene Roddenberry.
Right. I think Cardinal may have been trying to say that he wrote that first episode, which he did. He wrote The Big Goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
Tracy wrote that one, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he may have misspoke there, but give him the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But just because we put it up on the marquee, it's important for people to know that the actual inventor of it in real life, there's real life science, and his name is Gene Dolgoff, and he met with Gene Roddenberry in 1973, fascinated by the technology, and so it's this is how it became science fiction based on real science. So just so everyone knows.
Keeley Chow. Roll Tide, sir. And they're not in the Max Amanda Bears here, too.
Yeah, right. And Keely. Hey, Matt.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for that again, Gil. Appreciate you, buddy. Listen here. JT Kirk says, A-. This holodeck adventure is leaps and bounds over Dixon Hill. Take that, Patty Stew. Running out of computer storage is simply absurd. Not a visitor. Oh, my. Yes, please. More of that. I can't argue with you on that one, brother.
Guess who just walked through the door?
Who?
Larry!
Larry!
DJ Sound!
What's up, Larry? Larry and Larry. Good to see you, my friend. I'm Larry. This is my brother, Daryl. This is my other brother, Daryl. Raymond Feliciano says, at King Dolphin TV, says, A-. A fun story, but I do not like the transporter trope. A nice parody of the Bond stories. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 3 bags full. Steven. Cal Al Buddy says, B+. This was a fun episode to watch, and it was really great to see the characters involved portrayed in a very different manner. Although it was convenient for the sake of the plot, one would think that the shutdown of all non-essential systems in order to conserve memory would have included the holosuite. Thankfully, at least one of the writers realized that a holosuite's memory capacity, as advanced as it is, would have to be in order to as advanced as it would have to be. In order to perform its functions, wouldn't be enough to store the neural energy of 5 individuals. It was really nice to see Rom step. Sorry about the clumping all over. I don't know what's wrong with me tonight. I'm barely. Sorry. Up and help save the day. However, as it shows more character development, as he is slowly demonstrating that he is more than what he appeared to be at the beginning of the series. That's because they were making it up as they went along, buddy. They were very willy-nilly with their characterization sometimes. Not the best episode of the series by any means, but an overall enjoyable one nonetheless. Thank you so much, Cal-El, buddy. We appreciate you, sir. The break.
I just got to bust in for a second here. Cardinal Sin says Tracy Torme at least told me he invented the holodeck as we knew it in TNG, and that he created the Dixon Hill character. You'd have to take it up with Tracy. If I'm wrong, then Tracy is too. I just want to say, Cardinal Sin, that Tracy Torme did absolutely not invent the holodeck. The holodeck is based on real technology, and it first appeared in TAS. They started calling it after the technology. Previously, Gene Roddenberry referred to it as the recreation room. So you see a full appearance of the holodeck, a holosuite, where everyone goes to relax, and you can make anything with it just like you can with a holodeck in TAS. And so this happens a lot with Star Trek, and it's why, as an academic, I'm trying to change the conversation. And that is that you have a lot of people with huge egos that are involved with creating Star Trek, and they have their own tunnel vision as to their contribution. Like Armin Shimmerman saying that he was the first Ferengi. There is no truth in Star Trek. There are only facts. But the truth that people create, these factoids that they create, are from their own perspective, through their memoirs and the conversations that they have with people. But I can definitely tell you, Tracy Torme did not invent the holodeck. The holosuite was based on real technology that Gene Roddenberry encountered in New York in 1973. And the first appearance of the holodeck was TAS.
And now, if he came up with the name for it, maybe, or this was the first story that featured it. It wasn't, because it was an encounter at Farpoint. So with Tracy, it was called the holodeck, and it was an encounter at Farpoint before the big goodbye ever came in there. So I'm sure maybe he misheard him. I don't know. Maybe he just said he did create Dixon Hill, which is fair enough. He wrote that episode, maybe. But as far as the holodeck, it was in Encounter at Farpoint as well. Remember, in a couple of other episodes.
And when it appeared in the Practical Joker, Gene could have very well have called it holography, which is what Gene Dolgoff called it. So, but you know what Gene is like. Like, Gene didn't want to call things guns, so he called things phasers. And so when he was conceptualizing this idea of what a recreation room would be like, where people would go to escape their troubles or visit new places or just go and relax, he thought of it as a recreation room, a place where folks could share. But holography was already coined as a phrase by Gene Dolgoff prior to 1973, when he invented the technology. So that's it. I'm just going to give the facts aside of people's memoirs and their dreams and what they think they did and what they think they contributed. It's just not true. Sorry.
I don't know who wrote. I can't remember off the top of my head who wrote Encounter at Farpoint, but that was the first time it appeared as something called the holodeck. So. And I don't know if Tracy was involved in the writing or anything there, but I know he wrote like Dixon Hill for sure. So anyway, that's fine. Maybe he just meant that he, was the first one to do a holodeck story. I don't know. Anyway, Zapras, thank you so much. B-. He said, let me say this for the first time this year. Babylon 5 is way better than DS9. He said it. Yes. Oh, way to say it, buddy.
Yes, good Lord Thoth, I agree.
What?
Oh, nothing. He's just going with the conversation. And please tell Lady Thoth that we're all waving back to her, and it's so nice that she's here.
Indeed, Lady Thoth. Hope you're doing well. C+ says the great Lord Thoth. By the way, Avon lives, long live the Legion. This one is fun, but not a great episode. The science is a bit sketchy, but it didn't take away from the episode much. The ladies,
right?
Bashir and Garrick, man, the chemistry, man, yeah. I hear you, brother. Wolfie says C+. What?
Nothing. I just love this. Look at how he worded it to make it more comical. It's good.
The holodeck is broke again. I like the 00s that 007 exists as fiction in the Trek universe. Oh, sure, yeah. Or did they mention him now? No. Anyway, That's it. I'm changing the noise, the holodeck suite. Hang on a second here. Sorry, I thought I had to sneeze. I probably will in a minute. I'm probably caught all kind of con crud today. The holodeck suite makes when it activates, deactivates. Tense batleth training session and program. Riker plus minuet visit and program. I don't know what that means. Dang it, Wolfie. Dang it, Wolfie. The great Chris Persia says, C. It's like the writers forgot Relic from TNG season 3 years prior to. Oh, you mean Relics? Yes. Where years prior, where Scotty remains in the pattern buffer for 75 years.
Yep.
They want me to believe they couldn't keep them in the buffers.
I had that in my notes. That's the first thing I thought of too when I watched this the first time, Chris. And on rewatch, it just becomes more and more and more pronounced. So I love you, Chris. Great comments. Great.
For an hour or two, let alone store their mental engrams. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. In physical form separately, especially since the computer on DS9 is marginally larger than the Enterprise.
Love it.
I don't know, sir. Hungry Boy says B+. I'm a Connery Bond fan. Whore. If this was pandering, too bad. The 90s paying homage to the 60s instead of cannibalizing the 60s. Plus, a little Napoleon solo, too. Yes, Man from Uncle. There's this other one. My favorite character actors getting to do what they do best. A script that builds the subliminal mise-en-scene, on-scene scenery out of Belgian chocolate for the actors to chew on. I'm surprised no non-visitor ogling from Hungry Boy.
Boss man, I hate to interrupt you, but it's very important. So please excuse me. I beg your pardon. Katie has walked through the door. Katie's here, and I have just starred her first entry, and I think another one's coming. So just so you know, boss, I know you're on a different tab.
No, we're good. Good to see you, Katie. Thanks for being here. All right, let's see. Shooter says, I don't know about the excuse to get the cast into the Holo program. It kind of works, but we have seen. But he gives an A, by the way. I'm sorry, A. Let me try that again because I'm going too fast. I'm all over the place tonight. So, folks, sorry. Let me try to calm down. A. I don't know about the excuse to get the cast into the Holo program. It kind of works, but we have seen a transporter buffer hold Scotty for decades. Yes. How many can transport from a runabout? Still, it is a nice commentary on Bond movies versus real life spy craft done with humor, and I love the character acting out of the norm trope. Sure. Nana does seem to enjoy the sexy roles, and Column as Falcon was well done. Not sure about Avery as the Noah, but it is supposed to be over the top. Yeah, he's Dr. No. Get it, Noah? Dr. Noah? Yeah,
but every time he's a bad guy, he's like, ha! He uses that, ha!
He was having fun.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it is just a fun episode. Plus, Garrick always adds to any episode. True. I think the order of the episodes needs to be done better. Altering between serious and humor would work better.
Yep.
I mean, how about, look, I love The Lap, but I watch other shows for that. How about, look, the original series only had maybe 3 humorous episodes, So, anyway, the Catman, a.k.a. D.D. Myers, says, I give it a solid D. Wow, didn't care for the episode. Thought they did way too many of these episodes. They did way too many of these episodes. All I got from it was just a couple of laughs. Okay, well, Catman, sure. I
love it. And Boss Man, I have to interject, and I do apologize. I'm sorry, but it can't be avoided. Maximum Redstone just walked through the door and left you a gift and a message. I'm going to start. It will go into the folder for you to read, Boss.
Okay, Max, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Michael Carney says, B, I love the episode. It's dumb but fun as hell. Garak is amazing as always. Him and Bashir's interaction is great. Plus, sexy, strong women. Thank you so much.
Yes, right?
Appreciate you. Oh yeah. I mean, absolutely great stuff. Max Redstone said, check your email. Also, Will Wheaton is looking for you. Thank you for that, buddy. Will Wheaton, you know where to find me, pal. All right.
And by pal, he means poo.
Poo. They're not an axe. Amanda Bear says, A+. You know, if it's a Bashir and Garak episode, it's going to be good. It's just that simple. Plus, this is among the better ones, in my opinion. Thank you, Narat. I'm Max Amanda Bear. Appreciate you. The wonderful communications officer, anti-derivative Jill says B. It was silly, but a fun Garak Bashir characterization. Nice. The Cisco villain is going to have a hard time repopulating when he sunk all of the land masses.
Yes.
Well, you know, those supervillains never think it through. Let's see here. Enigmatic drop bear, my friend. Here we go. B. On the plus side, the production team put in a stellar effort making this episode. Costumes, sets, props, the production values, in general, are top notch.
Mm-hmm.
It was a deliberate parody of James Bond that took the opportunity to contrast and compare MI6 and Obsidian Order tactics.
Mm-hmm.
Comparison that doesn't really seem to serve any purpose. I know what's that. This time, the two most dangerous Star Trek technologies, holodecks and transporters, get together for a deadly double.
I know, it's so annoying.
The tricorders, yeah, and Nog are present to save the day. I think he meant Rom, right? Nog was maybe Rom. I mean, yeah. But anyway, so who sabotaged the runabout? They mentioned it later, didn't they? Given the transition to serialized storytelling, perhaps we will find out in a later episode. I think they mentioned it at the end of the episode. Some kind of, wasn't it like a Bajoran? I mean, not a Bajoran. Was it a Bajoran?
Yeah,
character?
it's the new terrorist organization that's emerged. The Order of the whatever you McCollums. It's just another. We'll be talking about that later.
Yeah, they'll be there later. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, hey, we have a limerick. We'll break for a second for a limerick. We're got to get through these fast, but Max Redstone sent a limerick for our man Bashir. Are we ready for that?
We are. All
right. The first of 2023 Max Redstone Limerick Entertainment for Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Tonight's first of the episodes, Our Man Bashir, by the extraordinary artist Max Redstone. And here it is. Julian Bashir, a spy with a knack, and the hollow suite so clever, clad in white and black. Unexpected ado, when they're joined by the rest of the crew. Julian's skills even impress Garak. Nice. Nicely done. I see what you did there. Thank you so much, sir. All right, and speaking of Max Redstone, his review is this.
Lovely.
I'm seeing let me get to hang on a second. A, this is one of my favorite bottle episodes, and the fact that Garak, the spy, is compelled to be the second Banana to Julian virtual spy. Frivolity and satire was so well applied. Yes, it was a lot of fun. It was well.
Boss man.
Yes.
Steve M has to leave. Maddie's daddy. So he says, good night, crew. I got to pick up the new yeoman early today. Have a great night. Engage.
Take care, buddy.
Steve M, we love you, honey. And kiss Maddie for me, okay? Have a good night. Thank you for being here.
All right. Now I got Classic Comics. It says I only seen 3 of 5.
What?
Yeah.
Inconceivable.
1 and 2. Well, what? If you can backtrack and try to find it, I'll read Katie.
I will go now.
Katie says, one of my favorite episodes of Deep Space Nine. I thought the entire plot and combination of Bashir as a James Bond figure was fantastic. He had charm and charisma. The costumes were also brilliant. Let's see. The science may have been iffy, but in all of this, excuse me, but in all, this is a fun, enjoyable, and entertaining episode in the midst of war and drama. I love Jadzia and Kira's femininity in this episode as well. Solid A for Katie. Thank you, Katie.
Did you read J.D. Lewis's?
I know, I don't see it. I don't have it started.
I'm going to start. There's something going on with the chat.
So, Classic Comics, I'm seeing 3 of 5 of yours.
I'm going after
Only
Classic
one.
Comics right now, honey. Just wait.
Okay. Here's J.D. Lewis.
There's something wrong with the chat. It's acting weird again. Don't worry, I'll find it.
Yeah. So if you, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I didn't
I've got 3 of 5 at 1 minute after the hour.
Yeah. J.D. Lewis says 100% perfect. Our man Bashir is an affectionate and loving tribute to the James Bond films. Too bad MGM tried to sue DS9 back to the Stone Age over this episode. This is such a joyful romp. A+. They tried to sue them over that. What a bunch of jerkwads. That's probably Cubby Broccoli did that. Well, while you're doing that, I'll read because we got to try to make some time. So while you're doing that,
it's not here.
Classic.
They've been vaporized, and I'm telling you officially they've been vaporized because I have the one before that at 56 minutes past the hour. If you die in VR, you die in real life. 90s facts, and then just that 3 out of 5. So he's been vaporized.
Did you have that one though? What's that one you just talked about?
Oh, just.
So Classic Comics at 10:01. Well, my time.
Yeah.
It says 3 of 5.
Yeah, and that's all I got.
None of his other. I'm sorry, Classic. I don't know. CC. I
don't
know
vaporized.
What happened. I wonder why would it do that.
I don't know. It also didn't. It's also jumping around all over the place because I did not see J.D. Lewis's on the first pass, and that's all I'm doing, right? It's not like I'm not paying attention. That's all I'm doing.
He says there was just one.
Oh, thank God.
Thank God. Oh, my goodness.
Okay, baby. You scared me. I was
Thank you, CC.
Freaking out, baby.
So here we go. So it says 3 of, it's just, all right. One of Dee's saving graces is that they didn't rely on the holodeck as a crutch constantly. True. This episode's a bit silly but fun, and they wisely didn't return to this often, but it was okay as a diversion. Okay. Well, thank you, Classic. And now to our final review of this one. So we need to step up, just make some time here. I made everybody late tonight. Mark D with a C says A+. Loves it. Don't care that the premise is hokey. This episode is more fun to watch than any of the recent Bond movies. Boy, is that boy howdy. That's for sure. If you're going to let the actors have fun, this is the way to do it. And the gorgeous DS9 ladies don't hurt. Yeah. Oh my gosh, they're crazy. The banter between Garrick and Bashir also exposes what it's like to be a real spy, while Julian reveals he'll do what it takes to save the crew. Yes.
I just want to welcome Eric K, who may be with us very briefly. He's left a gift for you, boss, as well as Tim's Talk on the left.
Hey, Tim's Talk. Good to see you, buddy. Let me finish up with Mark's real quick here. And I'll write that down. So let's see.
Yeah, I don't want to miss my window to talk to Eric. I love you, Eric. I hope everything's okay, honey.
Yes, indeed. Bashir, you'll be fine. It's just a flesh wound. Garrick, that was awfully close. What if you killed me, Bashir? Bashir, what makes you think I wasn't trying?
Yeah, that's a good line.
Good stuff. And then Eric K with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. He says, greetings, wonderful people from the darkness. Oh, wow. That is third world California. Still no power. Hooked up my battery back up to say hello to you all. Oh my God, man. Yeah. Oh, so sorry, buddy. If you're hearing this, I hope you get power back soon, brother.
Yeah, it's been going on for quite a while. So if we lose them, everyone, just make sure you give a wave to Eric and look at this beautiful gift you have received from Anti-Derivative Jill. Thank you so much, Jill.
Jill, you're too sweet. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I love you. She says, thank you for 100 episodes of Saturday Night Star Trek. I'm glad you got out to go to a convention. I hope it was fun. It was so much fun. I'm going to suffer the pain of it with all the aches and pains and stuff that go with it. But it was worth it. I had a great time. So and thank you so much, Jill. Thank you so much, Jill. All right,
Oh,
let's see
Eric
here.
had a good meal though. That's good. It's nice
Really?
to see. Everyone's always interested in what Eric's eating because I don't think Eric owns a restaurant, and I don't think he's a professional chef or anything. But he's
But
a
he could
darn
be.
good cook. And so he was saying that tonight he had ribeye, potatoes, and eggs this morning, and
Oh, yeah.
tonight he had
How you
crabs. So
manage?
he's still eating well. And Midnight's Oblivion just
Hey,
walked through the
Midnight's
door.
Oblivion. Good to see you. Welcome. How do you manage that without power? I want to know.
Well, he's got some barbecue skills.
I guess so.
The man knows how to wield the grill.
Yes. Well, hell yeah. Hang up there. Hang on there, Eric. At least you've got survival skills, buddy. So we're ready for our next episode. Let's see if we can.
We are.
Okay, our next episode is Homefront.
It is Homefront, and Homefront is season 4, episode 11. Now, what's odd is, remember, DS9 has lots of 2-part and 3-part and sometimes even 3.5 episodes. And so they divvy them up in a really weird way, depending upon where you live in the world. But this episode, surprisingly, typically comes up only as episode 11. If you're following along in The Marvelous Companion filled to the brim with facts, it is prod code 483. And we all watched this for the very first time on January 1st, 1996. Happy New Year! And now I'm going to be reading extemporaneously from the weird, wild world of Wikipedia, where users just go and say what they think. They could be wrong, they could be right. That's why we only do the summary. Let's do it.
Could be wrong, but it may be right.
Yeah, they may be wrong. They may be right.
May be wrong, but they may be right. Sorry, song.
That's right. That's right. When 27 people are killed at a diplomatic conference being held in Antwerp on Earth, the evidence implicates the changelings. Captain Sisko travels to Earth to investigate what looks like a bold new defense by the Dominion that could be a prelude to war. That's a comma splice. Clean that up, somebody. He is accompanied by Security Officer Odo, a renegade changeling who opposes the Dominion. Sisko also brings along his son Jake, taking advantage of the opportunity to visit his father, a restaurateur in New Orleans. Due to Sisko's experience dealing with changelings, Vice Admiral Layton puts him in charge of planetary security. Together, they persuade the president of the Federation to introduce new security measures on Earth, hoping to be prepared if the changelings attack again. Meanwhile, Jake's friend Nog, a cadet in Starfleet Academy, asks Captain Sisko to help him become a member of Red Squad, an elite and select group of cadets. With the Dominion threat ever looming, paranoia begins to grow, especially after Odo catches a changeling impersonating Layton. Even Sisko momentarily suspects that his own father is a changeling when he is unwilling to submit to a blood test. All matters escalate, all the power on Earth is knocked out, and sabotage is believed to be the case. Sisko and Layton decide to prepare Earth for war, and they convince the president to declare a state of emergency on Earth. As the episode ends, Jake and his grandfather witness armed Starfleet security personnel begin patrolling the streets of New Orleans. And that is all the fine folks at Wikipedia and randos on the internet have to say about the summary of Homefront. I'm going to throw it back to Captain, my Captain, mon capitaine. Please tell me, what did you think of Homefront?
Hey, I just left New Orleans. I should have went to eat over there. It's the seafood, so I wouldn't like it anyway. Yeah.
Oh, boss, Katie.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Katie.
Yeah, sweetheart.
Oh, you all. Love you all. Does Raquel have the DS9 companion? Yes and no. I've sent it to her via Mark. He hasn't sent it to her yet, but she's got one. She's technically owns one.
Yeah. And thank you for asking. I love you, Katie.
Yes. But thank you so much for that, Katie. You're too kind.
Hey, Cavatino Cavalryman Che is here.
What's up, Cavatino?
Triple C.
Yeah, good to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. So, this is again, we're back to this is pretty much what Deep Space Nine is. You got to get, if you don't like it, it's not the show for you. If you're not into the intrigue and the war drama episodes and that kind of stuff, but it's done very well, I think. Of course, Brock, Brock Peters is just terrific as as old man Cisco. I'm glad we finally get a living Cisco's Pappy, because it was for a while there.
He killed him 4 times.
He was like dead how many times? Oh, but no, it turns out he's not dead. Man, that guy's resilient. Robert Foxworth, so good casting. Pretty interesting story about paranoia and fear and those kinds of things. I mean, certainly it may not be some things, even if something's not pure science fiction, it is very Star Trek, and then it talks about things that might, it also talks about such things like how technology affects us. It's a very Star Trek it's a very Star Trek concept to place a being that is completely unlike anything we understand or can be like, that can infiltrate us and create fear and stuff like that. So I think it does a very good job of building drama and paranoia, and getting just it's a pretty good piece of Star Trek drama and fiction. And I think this is a really well done, well crafted, and well acted episode. He was here.
Hey, honey. Good morning to you, and Happy New Year to you too, hon.
Yes, indeed. Good to see you there. So, hope you're doing well. Notes?
Okay, here are my notes for this episode. Joe Cisco is fully alive. He's alive. He's alive. Quark's dialogue is outrageously funny. And when I say that Quark's dialogue is outrageously funny, it is written so well that it is cackle worthy. Even men break out the cackle laugh at a Quark's dialogue at the beginning. It's so good. I have a bit of a problem with a Worf saying that it has been a millennia, which is an indefinite article, denoting one. So he says it's been a millennia. Millennia, of course, and I write here in my notes, is an indefinite article that indicates singular. Moreover, millennia is plural. And the Klingons killed their gods in the 14th century. So millennia, that would be more than 1,000 years. And of course, you wouldn't use in front of millennia.
Well, say Klingons are hardly the grammar police.
Yeah, well, not good. These writers need to clean it up. Clean it up. It's one thing to have it happen live on air or whatever, because, radio's radio, right? But it's entirely another that, there is a room full of writers here. Anyway, Joseph says crayfish in his dialogue. This is another huge mistake that should have been corrected, definitely by Ronald D. Moore, because in New Orleans they say crawfish. And then I put Jake says Joseph is under arrest when he speaks to Cisco. Obviously, Joseph is not under arrest, because when he gets there, it's just Starfleet trying to take a blood test from him. He's never arrested. So there's some really sloppy writing here. It's written by Iris Stephen Bear and Robert Hewitt Wolf. Just some really sloppy writing. It kind of sucks. This episode is a treatise on paranoia and war. I also liked the fact that it was very American in its messaging about never surrendering to terrorism. And so that is all I wrote about this episode.
Well, there you go. Like I say, I think it's very, it's got a very kind of a Cold War type feel to it. I thought it was nice, a nice piece of what the show is really its modus operandi, which is political intrigue and drama and war stuff. That's what they're doing. This is foundational stuff that they're starting to lay out a little bit. In terms of what they're the fear and paranoia about what the changelings are up to. Mm-hmm. So I thought it does a pretty good job of laying that out. So yeah, pretty. I think it's a pretty good episode. So, what is your rating for Homefront?
I think that there is a great deal of sloppy writing on behalf of Iris Stephen Bear here and Robert Hewitt Wolf. Obviously, you know, Joe is never released from custody after being arrested or any of that other stuff. And obviously, lots of grammar mistakes and also messing up the history of the Klingons and not getting the New Orleans right when you really need to get the New Orleans right. But I do like the way they handle this paranoia and war idea, and they couch it in science fiction. So I think that it's really well done, but it's not perfect, and thus I give it a B+. Good work, but not entirely science fiction, and not enough for Rock to give it an A.
It's a fair cup. I have a B+ also. Solid, good stuff, and it works. And let's see. Well, I will ask our good friends in the chat to go ahead and let fly with your ratings and reviews. While number one is starring those, I will bring
Cam's Crash Courses is here, boss.
Hey, Cam, what is up, my friend? Good to see you. Let's see here.
Okay, I'm going to go radio silent as I star.
And I'll bring us some Max Redstone entertainment. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the great maestro of Star Trek lyrics, Max Redstone. Max Redstone presents Homefront. Here we go. The changelings have now attacked Earth. As for security, it seems there's a dearth. When the electricity depletes, armed squads take to the streets. Even the Big Easy in New Orleans might sink into the Firth. It says Firth. Wow. Well done, sir. Well done. Always appreciate you. And I'll also, our good buddy Michael Beacom has his review of the episode. We'll start with that. Homefront, Michael Beacom gives it a B+. He says, element in its favor. Brock Peters, Susan Gibney, Robert Foxworth, elements against it. Herschel Sparber, blatantly ripping off 7 days in May and perpetuating a now long-running tradition. Two of trash Starfleet admirals. Yeah, I'm tired of the rogue admirals, but at least this one thinks he's right rather than him like turning totally evil. But I hear you. And I like Robert Foxworth, so it's kind of a shame. Scenes of Brock Peters rejecting a mandatory blood test were eerily contemporary. That's all I can say on YouTube. Interesting social commentary with a dusting of sci-fi. Additional material on Homefront and Paradise Lost from the Deep Space Nine Companion by Terry J. Erdman and Paul M. Block, page 297. Man, this is a lot of stuff to read. I'm going to have to do this later. Michael, I hope you forgive me because we're way behind on reviews. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there, man. And I would do it. We got so many reviews to read. But thank you. It is much appreciated. Oh, the only thing I don't appreciate right now is my chair. Raymond Feliciano says, A+. A great story of paranoia and intrigue. Good to see Sisko's father finally. Yes. And good that he's alive. Zathras says B+. Brock is great. Fun fact, Robert Foxworth was supposed to be on Babylon 5 as General Haig, but his agent double booked him. I guess he did play General Haig on there. You're right. Foxworth chose DS9. JMS killed him off in B5. Take that, Foxworth. Wow. Zathras ain't playing this year. He's really going after the enemy, Deep Space Nine. My goodness.
You can't mess with Zathras.
No.
No, you don't mess with him.
Take that, Deep Space Nine.
Unless you want some crap.
Yes. Wolfie says A-. Things I really like about this episode. Brock Peters is a 10-10, yes. As Joseph Sisko, Starfleet Command showing New Orleans and Earth. Yep, I wondered about that in New Orleans. As someone who's been there a lot, I'm like, didn't change much, obviously. But I mean, it's funny, like, it was kind of cool that there's a 24th century New Orleans, and it looks exactly like the French Quarter from now, except I'm hoping it smells better in the 24th century. Things. The smells. Things I didn't like. Humans acting like they do now instead of how they would act in the evolved version of Earth that is supposed to exist at this time. That's a valid point there, Wolfie. I like that.
Something Gene Roddenberry would have said.
Yeah, well done, sir. Non-human is president of the Federation. Good canon. Not sure why the Admiral has a problem with it. Yeah, because it's the Federation. It's not like he's the president of Earth. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, right. And that that was in Trek 6 too. So I mean, it's not like it was new. Why didn't they blood screen the horses pulling the coach in New Orleans? Well done, Wolfie. The blood screenings don't work when conducted by a changeling. Hungry Boy says A-. Odo reveals himself. A person who can become an object becomes the instrument of an object lesson. Superb. I'd push it to 3.5 just to be on the safe side, foreshadowing perfection. Hang on, I'll get your other one here. The camera work is fab here. Dax fixing the furniture placement. Oh, yeah. Little things like this matter. And argument the efficacy of the script. Oh, and augment, sorry. I need to move this thing closer. I mean, that's worse than tube grubs.
But were they chilled?
What's wrong with you? Sorry, I'm having I don't want to think about tube grubs. I mean, tube grubs are bad enough. Lord Thought says, this thing's my sorry, my StreamYard is going slow. It says B, this was suspenseful. Great acting by not only Papa Cisco, but yet another bad Admiral Layton. Yeah. Great to see Cisco finally get that extra rank pip. He should have been a captain in episode 1. Agreed. Or at least by this end of the first season, because he was at that point a guy who had just been a first officer. So I could have seen maybe commander for a season, but they waited too long. Let's see here. Shooter says B-. Didn't Cisco's dad used to be an admiral in Starfleet? I don't know. Love the Cisco family. I don't think so. A dynamic in the up. The grandfather set in his way. Ben, the military man, and Jake stuck in between. I don't think he was ever an admiral. Ever mentioned that I know of, Shooter, but I couldn't swear to you on that one. So you might want to.
I know nothing about that.
I don't know.
I know nothing about that. And that would be difficult to research because, if you look online, it'll just be a bunch of people talking out their keisters, pretending like they know.
I don't think they ever said him. If they said that, maybe, but I know they just said he was dead. But I don't. You could be right. I know they mentioned him a couple of times, Shooter. While the actions taken by Cisco make sense from a militaristic point of view, they fly in the face of the Roddenberry ideal. A more balanced approach should have been adopted.
Yep.
The moral dilemma Cisco faces isn't done well. How much freedom do you sacrifice to provide security? Would have been an interesting idea to explore instead of the conspiracy we got. Interesting. Shooter, thank you. Let's see here. Fancy Mount Scyther says B, for the fear of the changelings. F, for the Cisco family restaurant. Why? Would you get up at 6 a.m. to do prep work when you only need to go to the replicator for the same thing? Well, he doesn't like replicated food.
Yeah, that's the difference, Fanti, is that he grows actual food and uses actual food from the sea. His fish comes right from the sea, and he does not use replicators.
I would imagine even in the 24th century, there are going to be people who are resistant to using technology for everything. Whether we would do it, we might use it, but that doesn't mean everybody's going to.
Well, and food is art, right? So, Cisco describes his father as being, a chef, and so when you're a chef, food is art, and so obviously you wouldn't want to use replicators. So I can definitely see a society nurturing those who want to perfect their art and continue their art, and certainly food is art. So I definitely support your idea surrounding this, Clobby.
Indeed, Fanti says, "Who goes? Yeah, I want to work at a restaurant for low wages when there is no need for money on earth. So, what exactly is the point?" Well, I think he just wants to cook and serve people. Again, they don't look some Trek in terms of whether it's Roddenberry's Trek or whatever. In terms of their monetary systems and how certain things work in life, goes best unexplained and even mentioned because it just will give you a headache because you go, yeah, how would anyone have a business? Who pays for that? Who pays for this? None of which don't even, if I wouldn't bother if I were you, because I've tried it plenty of times. We're not going to do that here anyway because it's just crazy. But yes, there's no commerce. Why is there a business? But there's commerce all the time in Trek. Don't even, but I know what you're saying, Fanti, but I think Cisco just likes to serve people in a restaurant. So maybe it's that,
Yeah, and we don't see a till or any money changing hands. We don't see bills being given out. But the thing is that this is my major problem. And this is why I say that Star Trek goodness is centrifugal with regard to quality science fiction writing, with the exception of Enterprise. And the reason being is if you want science fiction, people clearly need to realize something that is absolutely true. If you want science fiction, you have to hire science fiction authors who write short stories that are researched scientifically. That's what we do when we write science fiction. When you hire drama people don't care about that. And if they have someone on set who can help them when they make a glaring error, that's fine. But you see a lot of this stuff when the person is not immersed in the idea of futurism. So that's a big drawback of doing it the drama way.
Stephen M. Kal-El says, this episode tells an excellent story and really ramps up the very real threat that the Dominion poses to the Federation. Almost every scene in this episode was really well done and progresses the story in an intelligent manner. It was interesting to see the differing points of view of the events and the necessary actions eventually taken by both the Federation president, who openly stated that he didn't want to be responsible for destroying Paradise, as well as Cisco and Layton, who views these measures as necessary to save it. The interactions between Cisco and his father concerning the situation as it's escalated were very compelling, and seeing the anguish on Cisco's face when he realized that for a moment he thought his father may have been replaced by a changeling only added to the tension that all concerned must have been feeling. The episode's ending cliffhanger with a global power outage and the beaming down of armed Starfleet officers certainly made me want to watch the then upcoming second part of the story. It was a great episode overall. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you so much, Stephen. I just wanted to say, everyone, that D. Bud Martin is tuckered. He's done with today. He says he's pooped, so he's going to go to sleep. D. Bud. And he wants to say goodnight to everyone. I just want to say, D. Bud Martin, thank you so much for supporting this show, for supporting me and my work, and for supporting Clobby and
thank you,
this
buddy.
whole thing. We just love you very much, honey. Have a great night. Everyone, please say goodnight to the great D. Bud Martin.
Yes, indeed. Wrench of Iron, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you. Classic Comics CC says B+. It's a bit of an irony that Robert Foxworth was playing General Haig on B5. Another officer trying to stop the subversion of Earth's government. Yeah, it is actually. He was killed off screen on B5 because he was filming these episodes and wasn't available. That's true. Yeah, and that's weird stuff, huh?
Sorry to interrupt. Want to welcome Snail Messiah. Snail Messiah.
Oh my goodness, Snail. Hey there. It's good to see you, my friend. I hope you were doing well. I hope you had a great holidays and everything. Welcome back. Welcome back, sir. Welcome back. JT says B. For this year's viewing, this episode is in context of 2020. I can't say more on this topic. And unfortunately, I'm getting tired of the evil admirals. I would love an alligator in stasis on my wall. It's a fair call.
Good evening, Real Wade Nation. Welcome. And I think Raymond Feliciano is calling it a night. So good night, King Dolphin TV.
Hey, thank you, Real Wade, for popping in. And Raymond, thanks for being here, buddy. Have a great rest of your night. And say hello to Sandra for us.
Yes, please do that.
Hail to Sandra. You guys take care. Says B for Bad Admiral. Michael Carney says B. I enjoy this episode. Very paranoid Cold War style. Love Robert Foxworth's acting. Always a great addition. Brock is a legend, and Captain Bentine is hot. Yes, she is hot.
Oh, a Ptolemy's minion and the pepperoni.
Oh my!
The pepperoni.
I had to react, but we can't just let that go. I got to show the pupper dog.
The pepperoni. There's the pepperoni in question.
Yes, indeed. Anyway, where were I? Okay. Bop. Where were I? Okay. All right. Ptolemy, good to see you, dear. And look who else is here, Mr. Tickle Trunk.
Yes, and he sent you a gift, and I started and put it in your folder. You got to go see it.
Hey, Mr. Tickle Trunk, good to see you there, buddy. He says, any episode with Papa Zisco is a good one. Mm-hmm. Listening while I pass out. Aww. I'm looking forward to the full replay tomorrow. Peace and long life. Well, Mr. Tickle Trunk, I'm honored to have you here. You say that. Right. And thank you so much for your very generous with that super chat. Appreciate you, buddy.
You're a sweetheart. And I just wanted to say thank you also for helping to promote the show this evening and this afternoon.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate it so much, sweetheart. I'm sending a huge smooch for your cheek, and have a great night.
Sleep well, my friend. Thank you so much. Midnight's Oblivion says just B. Okay, fair enough. Max Redstone says B+. This episode is sloppy, but we can take that as transactional, as it is a two-parter. DS9 needs. Needs sloppy. Let's see. Weird. Okay, got another one. Needs sloppy writing. Agreed. Okay, sloppy writing. Agreed. He wrote two of them. I was gone. This can be a transactional, though. It is one of two parts, and somehow the drama must be escalated from the Dominion threat. Ominous that it was just before 2001, about 5 years before it, but yeah, right. It is ominous, man. Yeah, it's a fair call. Victor Fontaine says, Shooter is talking about the actor playing an actor in Star Trek VI. What was that in reference to?
I'll remember in a second. I'm sorry. I now have stream brain. But I need to say, Cardi's leaving. Everyone, Cardinal Sin is leaving. Please make sure you follow Cardinal Sin on YouTube and on Twitter. Good night, Gil. Thank you so much for your generous donations to keep the lights on at this virtual comic book shop.
All right, Gil.
We talk about all things. Everyone, please say good night to Cardinal Sin. And Lemon Pie just walked through the door, boss.
Oh, Lemon Pie. Hey there. Pie! Yeah. Gil, take it easy, man. Thanks for being here, buddy. We appreciate all you do.
Oh, the actor. That comment was about the actor being in the Star Trek film and being a part of the military, not in the canon of DS9.
I don't even remember what he's talking about, but okay.
I do. It's okay. I got it.
Okay, gotcha. Jill says, B, the blood screenings are the most worthless excuse for martial law and the rescinding of rights. Plus, they aren't even effective. Listen to Joseph. But at least the tube grubs are wriggling. You and two. Stop talking about
She's doing it on purpose. She loves it.
Purpose, Jill.
I mean,
Jill,
it's
no.
funny. I mean, I agree with her. It is funny when you're like, ugh.
Stop that, Jill. Whoa, no. I love you, Jill.
Jill, don't
Um,
stop that.
Hey, who's the captain here? We have a mutiny on our hands.
We do.
I love you.
Sorry.
Hey, love you, Jill. You can say whatever you want. Neurotonax Amanda Bear says B. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about on this episode. It's good, but I'm not too big of a fan of the enemy within paranoia storylines. Although, also, I wonder how they get their crawdads. Is real fishing allowed in the 24th
Yes.
century? I don't know.
It is, and I would like to welcome Dearest or Dyrus
Hey, Dearest.
to the chat. Hello, hello.
Yeah, well, good to see you, Dearest. Thank you. Okay, that seems to be all of our reviews for Homefront. Going once, going twice. We're about to go to the next episode.
Let's just
of course, the next episode, it's part 2. So if you want to get in any shots about or anything about Homefront, you can just pile it on with the review of the next episode. Well, how about that?
That's right. Moving along.
So we can make some speed here. Let's move along. Yeah, move it along. Okay, our next episode is part 2 of the story, and it's called Paradise Lost.
It is. And Paradise Lost is season 4, episode 12. And just in case there is anything funky with that number, remember that is prod code 484. We all watched this for the very first time on January 8th, 1996. JT Kirk is calling for the move along home due to my huge mistake of saying move along. What is this? Mark D with a C says, did my review disappear? Yes, it did.
I don't know.
I don't see it here.
Oh, it's not here. I never saw it, so I just figured you were going to put it with the next one.
It's not.
I didn't see it. Well, shoot it.
I'll go back and look, but I think
it might just. I don't know why it would disappear.
I don't know. But
weird.
We'll
if you want to find it.
Oh, I have it.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, okay.
Hold on.
What happened?
I don't know. The chat's being really weird tonight.
I just figured it was something came up and he got busy, so we were just
got it. It's here.
Oh, okay.
And let me know anybody else if you got vaporized or if the chat is sorting weird, because it just sorted Mark in a very weird order.
Yes, he's backwards. Okay.
Yeah, he's backwards. You saw that? Isn't that weird?
Mark D with the C says, chief engineer says B+. Thankfully, Cisco's dad was only mostly dead in this episode, so they can bring him back. Interesting use of allegory in this story. The shapeshifters could represent any enemy of an intolerant society. The undesirable, those that don't conform to social norms or political dissenters. By overreacting to the threat of the shapeshifter, Cisco is confronted with disobeying a superior to preserve the ideals of the Federation. Indeed, sir.
Nice.
Sorry about that, dude. I thought you were just waiting or something came up. I know you got busy.
The chat's weird tonight, Mark. Some of it is
I don't know what the hell,
yeah. Anyway, well, don't worry, we'll get it all sorted.
Yes, sir.
Chris Persia just said, Raquel, it makes sense that things are weird right now. YouTube has some updates yesterday and Streamlabs the day before. This is why. Thank you, honey. Love you.
Well, there you go there. All right. Well, thank you, Chris. Appreciate you, buddy.
Okay.
All right. So, Paradise Lost.
So let's do it. So like I said, this is season 4, episode 12, prod code 484. We all watched this for the very first time on January 8th, 1996. Pretty close how we're lining up here, folks. We're lining up.
Wow.
And I'm going to be reading extemporaneously. That's a cold read from the fine folks at Wikipedia. Anonymous submissions. Let's hope it doesn't suck.
Real Wave Nation, I did see it. Hello and welcome. I saw you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, and I shouted you out too, honey. Anyway,
sometimes people don't hear it, you know.
Yeah. Earth has been placed under martial law due to a seemingly imminent Dominion invasion, but Cisco believes that there is more going on than meets the eye. With the aid of Deep Space Nine security officer Odo and Cadet Nog's connections with an elite and selective group of cadets at Starfleet Academy, Cisco gathers evidence that Admiral Layton is planning a coup d'etat. He takes the information to the Federation's president, and I'm not going to say his name. However, the president is hesitant to act in the absence of concrete evidence. Sisko is confronted by a changeling in the guise of Miles O'Brien, and a DS9 crew member. He tells Sisko that there are actually only a total of 4 changelings on Earth, and mockingly points out to Sisko how much panic they have caused, drastically out of proportion to their actual numbers. Sisko contacts Major Kira, second in command on DS9, to uncover the evidence the president needs. A Starfleet officer on DS9, Lieutenant Aragia, has been manipulating the wormhole at Leighton's behest to create the impression that the cloaked Dominion fleet is en route to Earth. Before he can present the evidence to the president, Leighton has Sisko framed as being a changeling and imprisoned. Oh boy, the writing is so bad. Odo breaks Sisko out of prison. The crew of DS9 is en route to Earth on the USS Defiant, bringing the lady who confessed or the guy who confessed to the conspiracy in order to prevent the person's evidence from reaching Earth. Leighton orders the USS Lakota to intercept, telling the crew that the Defiant is crewed by changelings. When the Lakota fires on Lieutenant Commander Worf, in command of the Defiant, has no choice but to return fire. Oh, the writing is so bad. Outmatched by the Defiant's superior armor and firepower, the Lakota is on the brink of destruction when Leighton orders them to destroy the Defiant. As Sisko confronts Leighton with a phaser, the captain of the Lakota, Captain Benteen, refuses orders to destroy the Defiant and stands down, allowing the Defiant on its way. Oh my gosh, who wrote this? I just wanted, why? With his conspiracy falling apart, Leighton resigns and the state of emergency is lifted. Thank God we survived that horrible, horrible summary. Boss, tell me, what did you think of Paradise Lost?
I mean, there was some good stuff in it. Not as compelling as the first episode. I mean, I guess it's a serviceable conclusion to a story that's really all foundational setup stuff anyway. It was not going to be, it was not supposed to be some big epic story. It was just kind of we're still in early building stages of what's going on for the Big Dominion War. It was okay. There was some good drama in it. Like I said, I always just get a little bit, it's been mentioned here, the bad admiral stuff. And again, he's not evil, horrible. He just really thinks this is a decision that needs to be made that we just don't agree with, and I don't agree with him. I don't agree with him either. And it's kind of some of that drama also works, which you get a little sick of it. So I'm back and forth on that. But for the most part, it's pretty much on the similar level to the first part. It has a lot of good drama scenes in it, I guess, but it's nothing I'm really all that super excited about. These are solid foundation episodes for setting up the Dominion War and what's going on with the changelings and such, and not much more, just for me personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Notes?
This is an extended lesson in the perils of weaponizing fear and paranoia. This is a nice story with the Defiant. And that's all I said. I mean, it's like, what is there to say? This is more of this drama, and I'm not sure this was worth 2 episodes. I mean, it's not divine. It's not like I'm going to give it an A+ or something, but it's definitely not disgusting. However, it's not as strong as the first one. And where's my payoff? I want my payoff. You wasted my time. Where's my payoff? When you read, when you write or read, people, they want the payoff. That's why they invest in you. And so I'm not sure about the payoff here. And the way it's executed. It's a strong episode. It's foundational to what is coming. And not as good as the first one. Yeah,
just sort of there.
Yep.
So what is your rating?
B-, boss.
B-. I'm going to concur with a B minus. Also, it's not. I mean, there's some good stuff in it, and you still get it's still this pretty much. Yeah, again, this is like I said, interesting things in it, but it's just not enough to get me super thrilled or anything.
Nope.
So my good friends, I'll ask you now, please place any ratings and any words you may have on the episode Paradise Lost. While number one is over there preparing those or starring those, someone jumped the gun early, but I started.
I got it. Thanks, boss.
I will bring us some Max Redstone.
I'm going to go radio
entertainment.
silent so people don't have to hear 9 million clicks. I'll be back.
Okay. All right, everybody. So here we go. Paradise Lost by the great Max Redstone. Eden on Earth seems to be quite lost. Will Federation citizens end up being bossed? But there might be some lying. But there might be some lying. According to the changeling O'Brien, it's just some mean humans who want liberty tossed. Since I broke that up, man, put too much space, I'm going to do it again really quickly because this is good now. Eden on Earth seems to be quite lost. Will Federation citizens end up being bossed? But there might be some lying according to the changeling O'Brien. It's just some mean humans who want liberty tossed. Nice one, Max. Thank you as always, buddy. Rod Thunderheart. What is up, bud? What do you say there, sir?
Rod's here? Rod, honey, Alberta. Hey, baby.
All righty. Good to see you, brother. All right. So while Raquel continues to star those, I shall read them. Michael Carney. First shout out the box says D. I think the episode sucks mostly. I like the premise and the Admiral's plan. It is kind of for the greater good because of a weak president. Red Squad are dumb and pointless. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that.
I totally back that review. That's a good review.
Indeed. Classic Comics says, grade B, proof of Scaxination, please. Like a lot of the ST2 parters, the conclusion isn't as good as the setup. I hear you, sir.
What a great thing to say. I totally agree. I totally agree.
That's a good point, CC. Hungry Boy Sales, C plus nods to 12 Angry Men and a Few Good Men stuff. Plus V for Vendetta. Finally, decent reason for Nog to exist. That's it. Yeah, that's a fair call. It's a fair call. Wolfie says, rating A minus. Changelings come to antagonize as people you know. Very unsettling. Red Squad. Boy, nothing bad could ever happen to those kids. Oh, let's see here. Not only does Dr. Brahms have a special hologram double program, but a cute sister in Starfleet. Wow.
With a more reasonable hairdo.
Yeah, I did not think of that. Yeah, she does sort of look like her, if that's what he's trying to say, right? Let's see. Okay. Hang on. I love the Excelsior class, the workhorse of Starfleet for over 75 years now. The idea of loading one up for Bear is pretty interesting. That's the Lakota. Okay, hang on. And finally, Wolfie says,
boss, I have to come out of radio silence to say that Chris is leaving. He says, alas, I too shall bid my adieu. Have a great evening and what remains of your weekend, wherever you are. Chris Persia, we love you so much. Thank you so much for helping to promote this show, for your beautiful show posters, for helping out here with just everything that you do. I love, love, love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate you, buddy. Have a great night, my friend. We'll appreciate all you do, bud. The Lakota is a reuse of the Excelsior filming model from Star Trek 3 with its Star Trek 7 Enterprise B conversion companion. Wow. It is safe to say the Defiance ablative,
Yep.
ablative armor was installed before Tuesday. Yeah.
Everyone, please welcome Brett Cohen to the chat and boss. Brett Cohen's here.
Brett Cohen. Hey there, my friend. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Let's see here. Alrighty, let's see what we got up in here. Shooter says B-. The finale, straight away we find out there's a conspiracy involving the Red Squadron cadets. While this sets the tone for the episode, it feels rushed, even with the events of part 1. Hang on, Shooter. Got to find your next one. Sometimes it's not. It's farther down. Okay, here we go. Why did the founder decide to have a chat with Cisco? It seems counterproductive unless they considered Earth's new security arrangements a threat. Wouldn't Cisco realize this? Well, good point. Let's see. Hang on. Oh, there we go. The conclusion results was Starfleet returning to business as usual. Clearly, this was what the founders want, and while a reduced security stance was required, it should still be heightened. Yeah. The extreme actions of Admiral Layton are ultimately against the principles of Starfleet, and the fact that so many officers would follow him is unbelievable. Yeah, and he could have continued as Admiral Haig, General Haig, if he hadn't taken that gig, but maybe a DS9 paid more money. Zathras says B-. Zathras was offered Red Squadron, but I am not a joiner.
I just want to interject here too, and Wolfie wants to know if Susan Gibney also played Leia Brahms, and she did. It's the same actress.
Yes, it's her twin there, huh?
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. A cutie.
Yeah, she's adorable, but in universe, it's her. It might be her cousin, which is a little less crazy hair. Anyway.
Yeah. JD Lewis says this two-parter is 100% offensive. Whoa. I'm sick of Rick Berman's premise of Starfleet is corrupt. Starfleet is a utopia. Deal with it. Good actors trapped in a bad episode. F-.
Ooh, JD.
Whoa, way to scorch it there, JD. Well, hey, look, I respect that, my friend. Well done.
JD is not prone to taking out the flamethrower. So, bravo.
You went after it on that one, didn't he? Yeah. Well done, sir. Max Redstone says B-. So anything bad is because of changelings. EPS conduit down, changelings. UPS comment down, changelings. Sorry. Replicators broken, changelings. Wesley's promoted, changelings. 1-800-changelings. Blame someone else for your problems. I love it.
What about that bumper sticker that's like, or the sticker on the window that says "How's my driving" with the 1-800 number? How's my changing? Call 1-800 changelings.
Jill has nothing to say about the episode other than B-. Okay, Jill. We got you. You can say more later if you want to, but all right, let's see. The Catman, aka D.D. Myers, says, I thought the story was trashed, and that it had a few good drama parts that I liked, but not mean I give a D overall.
Mm-hmm.
For the good drama parts, I give a B. Okay.
Yeah, I love it when Dee does that when the Catman does that, because I feel that way too. Like sometimes it's so divorced from science fiction. It's like you want to appreciate the drama aspects, but it's just too far away. So I love that. And also, boss, I have to interject very quickly to say that the great J.D. Lewis had a wonderful time tonight. He said this was an excellent show. I'm headed to bed now. Good night, my friends. And you know what? You are our friend. And he says, see you all soon. Good night, sweetheart.
Good night, JD. Thank you, buddy. Have a good one. Appreciate you. JT Kirk says, C+, the Lakota was upgraded to a strength greater than the firepower of a Galaxy-class starship by the way the Defiant takes damage. They did have quantum torpedoes. Michael Dorn spent hours in makeup for 30 seconds worth of time.
Know. Isn't it amazing? You know, you
Yeah.
see that you hear nowadays these actresses who appear in these CGI scenes where all they have
Right.
to do is stand somewhere for 2 seconds, and they give these interviews with these magazines where they say they got PTSD from standing in front of a green screen. And here Michael Dorn is sitting in makeup for hours and hours and hours and hours. And yeah, it's a lot of work that goes into this costuming. I can definitely tell you as a cosplayer who tries to do really realistic cosplay that it's a lot of effort.
No, not an Amanda Bear, excuse me, says B-. It was okay, but yeah, same complaints as the last episode. Plus, seemingly crazy, incompetent people in charge as usual, which I guess is often reality. Hollywood would never dare make this episode now. They wouldn't dare a lot of things, buddy. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Enigmatic Drop Air says A-. What is it with Starfleet admirals? Yeah. Apparently, they're a cohort of conspiracists, insurrectionists, curmudgeons, and caballers infused with heavy doses of paranoia and hubris.
Yeah.
Sheer hubris. Let's see. Aren't we blessed that we don't live in a world with characters like that occupying positions of power, and our population is not prone to routine mandatory testing procedures? We are. It's a miracle. Let's see here. This pair of episodes are a commentary on power, self-righteousness, manipulation, especially of the young elite, willful ignorance, and their role in the erosion of civil liberties. Indeed. Yes, indeed, sir. Well, bringing it here. Sisko's character is the counterpoint, infused with his father's conscience and libertarian values. If the Dominion want to destroy what we have built, they will have to do it themselves. That's a good part. Let's see here. The moral of the story is that there is nothing to fear except fear itself, and the struggle for freedom is eternal. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox now. Stay on it all you want, buddy.
Stay on your soapbox. Stuff. We love it when you soapbox. And also,
yes.
I just want to say to Rod Thunderheart, he says, "Oh, Lou Ferrigno was in the chair for 6 hours a day." And then he says, "Darn kids today." And I say, "Hear, hear, Rod Thunderheart. I totally agree."
There you go. Stephen, great Kal-El, Super Wrench says, A-. Starfleet really needs to do more psychological screenings of its personnel before promoting them to the higher ranks. Although Chancellor Palpatine, Admiral Layton, fails in his plot to take over the Earth, it is alarming how easily he was able to use his position to grab more power, all in the name of patriotism. However, like all would-be dictators, Layton goes one step too far when he orders the Lakota to destroy the Defiant by any means necessary, which thankfully doesn't happen. The second part of this story was wonderfully told, and it, once again, through the intelligent use of sci-fi setting of the Star Trek universe, warns us all of the dangers of how a situation like the one orchestrated by Layton and his followers can get out of hand. Thankfully, Layton was removed from his position before an all-out civil war broke out, in no small part due to the efforts of Sisko, Odo, and some level-headed Starfleet officers. At the end, satisfying conclusion to the story introduced in part 1, and a good episode overall. Thank you so much, Kal-El, as always.
Boss. I'm going to report Mr. Angel, our ship's chef, for insubordination.
What do you do now?
He is
Damn
up,
it, Mr. Angel.
and he snuck out of sick bay and is here the bridge reporting for duty.
Damn it! You're gonna have. Damn it, Jim! Tell him to get back to sick bay.
Mr. Angel, we love you.
We're going to tell McCoy on you.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Mr. Angel, buddy. I hope you're feeling better, brother. And be good, man. And, dude, just be, hide if you have to. C, says Phantom Outsider. Leighton wasn't a bad admiral. He was a stupid one. Let's take over the planet, but put it under martial law, and he had nothing. If there was some controversial procedure he wanted to enact, if Starfleet had developed a device like the Romulans had that would disrupt changelings' ability to shift, but was painful or unsafe, it would make more sense. Okay, well, that's a fair call. Thank you, Fanty. And now for the final review of this episode. The great Tomato D with a C, the chief engineer, says B minus. It was all too obvious that Rogue Squadron, oops, I mean Red Squad, yes.
Yeah, right.
Was the MacGuffin in this episode, and that they were used to tie in Nog to the plot. Not entirely bad, but I think both of these episodes could have been considered into one, condensed into one. Sorry. Also, the Rogue Admiral is not entirely wrong. The Founder and Dominion, I think it means Founders and Dominion are threats. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
It makes no sense that the wormhole is not more well protected. And why is Earth so easy to attack? There are never any starships nearby. Yeah, that's always been a problem. So, are we ready to move on to our final episode of the evening?
We are. Let's do it.
Okie dokie, that would be Crossfire. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go get medicine, and I have to stretch anyway.
Okay, everybody.
Have
my sticks in that chat while the boss goes and gets his medicine.
I'll be in earshot, don't worry.
Okay, this is Crossfire. We're at Crossfire, which is season 4, episode 13. It's prod code 485. But everyone know that the major streaming services also list this as episode 12. So if your numbers aren't, adding up, it's because DS9 is infamous for having these 2-part, 3-part, and even almost 4-part episodes, and they hack them up differently depending upon where you live in the world and which streaming service you have. We all watched this for the very first time on January 29th, 1996. And I'm going to be reading about the plot extemporaneously from Wikipedia. Let's hope that it doesn't suck. Odo's regular meeting with Major Kira is interrupted by Quark, who complains that Odo practicing shapeshifting in his quarters right above Quark's own causes too much noise. Later, Shakar, the First Minister of Bajor, visits Deep Space Nine for a meeting on Bajor's proposed membership in the United Federation of Planets. Odo warns that a threat has been made on Shakar's life by members of the True Way, a Cardassian extremist group. Odo and Lieutenant Commander Worf tighten Shakar's security. At first, Odo and Shakar get along. However, Odo soon sees a bond between Kira and Shakar and is stricken when Shakar admits he's falling in love with Kira. Kira is late to her weekly meetings with Odo after having breakfast with Shakar. She gives Shakar a tour of the station, with Odo accompanying them for security. In a turbo lift, Odo hears the two talking about plans for the evening. A message in Worf's voice asks to take control of the turbo lift, and Odo, distracted, grants control without waiting for the code. The turbo lift begins plummeting, but Odo changes his arms into solid pylons to stop its descent. Odo later discovers that the request was from the True Way agent using a voice synthesizer. Captain Sisko reprimands him for his lapse in attention. Shakar spends the night in Kira's quarters. Hubba, hubba. Bow, chicka, wow, wow. And in the morning, Kira tells Odo that she and Shakar are now in a relationship. And she is glad Odo is a friend with whom she can talk about her relationships. When he returns to his office, Odo discovers that Worf has found and arrested the True Way operative. Dismayed at both Kira's romance and Worf doing his job, Oh, that's not the way that you say that. Worf doing his job. Oh. Anyway, Odo returns to his quarters and goes into a rage, destroying much of the furniture and decorations inside. Outraged at the noise, Quark confronts Odo but is thrown by how defeated the constable looks, pretending he is only concerned for his profits from the betting pool rather than a friendship for Odo. Quark, geez, the grammar. Quark tells Odo that he has to make a choice. Either tell Kira how he feels or forget her and move on. Later, Odo tells Kira he has to cancel their weekly meetings. At Quark's bar, Quark thanks Odo for soundproofing the floor of his quarters. Odo tells Quark that renovations have nothing to do with him. He sees Kira and Shakar exiting a hollow suite together and continues his rounds. And that is all the collective internet has to say about Crossfire. I turn it over to you now, Captain, my captain, mon capitaine. Please tell me, what did you think of Crossfire?
Before we do that, let's say goodnight to our dear friend Enigmatic Drop Bear. I don't know if you've gone already, buddy. Thank you. Says goodnight. We're wonderful people. Peoples, I have to go. I hope to be better prepared for next week. Hey, don't worry about that. Never worry about that, sir. But circumstances here are a bit fluid, so unfortunately I can't be sure. Never, you're prepared. You're here. That's prepared enough for us, buddy. You're our friend. We love your reviews. But if you popped in and just said hello and just talked and that kind of didn't do a review, that wouldn't matter. You're a part of this team and you're part of our friendship and fellowship here. So we just to see you, my friend. You never.
That's right.
You don't. You have no obligations.
That's right. And we're all sending you a hug. A nice
time.
A nice big 735er hug. There's lots of us. We're there. We love you.
Yes. Best of luck to whatever's going on with you, sir. Your friends are here with you, and we appreciate you eating that.
Eric has to leave.
Eric.
He's losing battery power. He has to go. He's going back into the dark. We love you, Eric. Good night, honey. Thank you for everything. Good, buddy. Thank you so much, honey. We'll talk soon. Be safe.
Right. Good luck, Eric. Good luck, buddy. Okay, so what do we got? Crossfire.
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch Crossfire all the time back in the 80s and 90s.
That's a different Crossfire, boss.
This Crossfire. Oh, yeah. Because there's all they did was argue on that other one. Anyway. You know what? If not for the really a couple of great scenes between Quark and Odo and the great performance by Rene Auberjonois, I've got really not a whole lot of use for this episode, to be honest. I mean, look, I'm not like you about the romance stuff. Sometimes I don't mind it. Sometimes I'm even a romantic and like it. If it's not, I just don't think it should be the whole. In other words, you can have characters that have, I don't know, I've just seen shows where they have the primary story, even though relationship is in there. But it just becomes a little bit too soap opera for me. I really feel for Odo. Don't get me wrong. It's brilliantly done in terms of his acting, how he feels, what's going on in this, I know what it feels like to fall in love, like that. I mean, so it's not my not a cup of tea of an episode there. I don't know what's going on now. You, Michael Carney, you should always wait till I give the word for the review, buddy. You didn't know that. I don't know if you do, but that's fine. It's okay. We'll read your review, but remember, it's important to wait till I give the word for the reviews. So it helps us when you do that. So we'll just appreciate that. But again, Renee's fantastic, and I love the scene between him and Quark toward the end. And I get that it's part of what they want to do in their story. He's in love with her and all that stuff. Who wouldn't be in love with her? I get all that sort of. It's just. See what I'm saying? I don't hate it. It's not my bag. How about that?
That is so generous and kind. You're very generous and kind.
Go for those notes. Okay. Hey, no, Michael, don't ever say sorry around here, buddy. It's all perfectly fine. Some people don't know that. So you're good, my friend, and we appreciate you being here. No sorry necessary ever.
That's right. Okay, so here are my notes. We get some nice dialogue in the opening scene, some really good dialogue, and I call balls and strikes, as the boss likes to refer to it. And so, I was calling out the previous episodes for some really bad writing. Here we have some nice dialogue. So balls and strikes.
Yep.
And then I wrote war, terrorism, politics, assassinations, assassination attempts. Please, let's have some science fiction. Let's talk about technology, aliens, anything. Then I put there is some lovely introvert talk with Worf and Odo. As an introvert and as an
Yeah, that was pretty good.
INTJ, I definitely loved that conversation between Worf and Odo. I love it every time. It's how I feel. So it's good. Then we have some really easy, realistic dialogue with Shakar and Odo as they're walking along the promenade, and it's quite nice. Both are accomplished actors. And it's just so easy and realistic. It's terrific. Not only the dialogue, but the way it's portrayed.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Hey, Dad, man. Good
Dead
to see you,
Man
buddy.
and the Dead Man Clan.
Dad, man. Good to see you, brother.
Kira
Good.
flirts with Odo and then Shakar. And then I put Odo and Shakar bond, and they do so awkwardly. And we see some good acting here. But the primary story is interpersonal affairs. The love boat is making another run. And I think this was an actual love boat storyline.
The love boat is looking to make another wormhole run. So,
Yeah. And
yeah, great character stuff. It's like good character stuff, right? Yeah.
I know,
Some
but it's not great character stuff. It reminds me of the
I
Love
mean,
Boat. But
acting
anyway,
wise, yeah.
did Gene Roddenberry create Star Trek to explore romance and unrequited love? This
Not that I
is
know
really hard to watch.
Yeah.
It's sad that Odo becomes invisible to Kira and that he is friend zoned when it's very clear that she's been flirting with him. I love that Quark sleeps in a onesie. This never gets old for me to see a grown man in a onesie. It's just hysterical. And you wonder if he has the go to the bathroom flap in the back. You remember when, yeah, anyway, I live in Canada. And if you have to wear an onesie, long johns yeah, you have to have a trap door. Anyway, is Kira thick? Is she really this thick? How could she be so insensitive? And then I wrote, I love Odo, but this is so far out of genre that I can't even watch it. It's so much cringe, and it's a Love Boat storyline. I'm waiting for Gopher to, suggest that Odo go dance with somebody else. It's so bad. It's bad.
Bad.
Yeah.
That bad, huh? Wow. Yeah, you're not getting too much of an argument out of me. I can tell you that much. The Love Station, yeah. So, well, let's make quick work of this puppy. Go ahead and give me your rating of Crossfire.
I love this wonderful actor, Duncan Rieger.
Duncan McGear. Oh God, yeah, I really like him. He's Zorro. Remember him as Zorro? You might remember.
Yeah, I think he's a great actor. He has such great presence. It's nice to see a tall, strapping, strong man on television. I enjoy his presence immensely. And he portrays his character with so much believability, and you can see that this man is a leader. And so I love the way he handles this role. And obviously, you know how I feel about Renee. And I think he did a great job here. If not for these two people being involved with this show, I would have given this, minimus.
And Alora Carrowson, hey.
Oh, and Alaric, hi. I would have given it an F. But instead, because these two people are involved and because we have some really nice dialogue, I gave it a D-. This is the Love Boat. This is not science fiction. Gene Roddenberry didn't invent Star Trek to figure out, how we feel about love and romance. I mean, I've heard less romantic Etta James songs from her romance songbooks. It's just absolutely ridiculous. It's so hard. It's just awful. And it repulses me because it's so cloying and so clingy and so gross. Ugh. D minus, okay? And you're lucky I didn't give it an F. And Brett Cohen just sent you a super sticker. And
Yes,
Tony
he did.
Stark's here.
Is Tony Stark here? Hey, Tony Stark.
Hey
Hey there,
minus
Brett.
with
Thank
a
you.
very strong.
Yes, that's a review for you. Brett Cohen, thank you so much for the super sticker. You are too kind, my friend. I appreciate it. Very, very kind of you. And Tony Stark, it's an honor to see you here, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, so well, I will now, of course, ask you all. I give it a C minus, and my criteria on that is kind of I reserve my A's for things that really, really thrill me, and I reserve my D's or lower for things that piss me off or really I hate. I don't hate this one. I don't find any. Like I said, there are enough scenes to. Like I said, you got Duncan in there. Renee's performance is terrific. Some of the stuff with he and Odo are just priceless. Quark Odo scenes. I just don't really care much for the whole point of the episode, which is pointless in a sense. So, yeah, I mean, I'm at a C minus, but I don't really care much either. Like I said, I don't really like the way. I'm not sure I like Odo being a lovesick puppy, but yeah, there you go. So
it would have been
anyway.
so much better if Vicky would have run over to Odo and just put a lei around his neck, and then then he could have gone and got a really nice girly cocktail from Isaac.
Oh Jesus!
Exactly. It is so cringy.
Well, I will ask our friends down in the chat to give us your rating and any words you may have on Crossfire. While you were doing that, number one will star them, and I will bring us some Max Redstone entertainment. So here we go, folks. The master of the limerick himself, the great Max Redstone, who always so kindly provides us, when he can, some fun, humorous limericks about the episodes in review. Here we go with our final episode of the night. This is Crossfire by Max Redstone. Aboard Deep Space Nine, out in space's expanse, Kira and Shakar are doing a tap dance. How Odo's feelings have grown, the poor man is in the friend zone. But of course, the station is hell on romance. Wow, that's a spectacular one right there, sir.
Is Brett Cohen leaving? Brett Cohen, thank you so much for being here. Good night, honey. Thanks for being
Brett.
Here.
Okay. Sorry, Brett. Have a good one, man. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Night,
by
honey.
the way, I think I screwed up. I got backtracked, and I think I forgot to read some of Michael Beacon's reviews earlier. So, Michael Beacon, let's see. Okay. I forgot to read his one on Paradise Lost, so I'm going to read that real quick, and then we'll get to the other ones, because he's got a lot of info. Michael Beacon on Paradise Lost said B-. Just more of home front, laudable idea, not the best execution. A conspiracy of cadets that is so super secret, no one knows of it, but Nog finds out about it. And the first cadet Cisco talks to spills the beans. I understand in TV you had to cut to the chase, but it made the whole conspiracy thing doubtful. I'm hoping that this is not what the rest of the season is going to be like. And he's got Michael again. We have, just for time purposes, he's got so many. He's got a ton of great info here. We just don't have time to get to it tonight, man. But I'll read your review across Crossfire. This is Michael's review of Crossfire. Michael Beacon, we appreciate you, dude. I really do. I mean, like I said, you got a lot of great info on it. There's no question about it. C-, says Michael Beacon. Rod Serling should have stepped out and said, Odo is entering a place between the summit of ecstasy and the depths of misery. A place of invisibility with no escape. It is called the friend zone. Thank you, Michael Beacon. And now let's see what kind of reviews we have for this evening. Michael Carney loves this episode. Not. He says F. Either F is his review or he says F this episode. Just kidding. I know it's just F's the review. I mean, but that means basically F this episode, really. F. This episode is horrible. Feel like it's so unlike Odo, and he gets friend zoned without any of the good things. He's just a simp, and it's sad. It's 99% cringe. You're not getting an argument out of me. Not in the least. Agree. Like, Cavatino, Cameraman Shea said the Claboni is making another run. The Claboni, is that what you want? Is that what you request?
I believe that's what's happening.
Well, why not? Just for you, Cavatino.
Crap, 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 crap.
Steve. All righty. All right. Sorry.
We okay, boss?
Yeah, so I was checking something to make sure I got something right. Okay. All right. So where were we? Thank you, Cavatino. Appreciate that. Stephen M. Kal-El says C-. This was an okay episode as it does show some character development for Odo. A by-the-numbers type of story for not only DS9 but Star Trek in general. An important character, Shakar, arrives on the station and his life is in danger. The threat is resolved and life aboard the station goes on. The only reason why this episode didn't get a lower ranking, is because it does allow for some character growth for Odo and the surprisingly insightful advice he gets from Quark concerning the matter, which makes him even more relatable. Yeah, I did love the scene where he says, or maybe you're telling me this as a friend, and I love when Quark, that was great. Their relationship is one of the most entertaining things.
It is. Yeah.
Around. I mean, I love Quark and Odo. That's just a great combo.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Especially when
the
Quark is pleading with him in a onesie.
The audience in terms of a watchable episode for sure, but one that I can eat with nothing really lost. Thank you so much, Kal-El. And Michael Beacom, did he? I don't know if you heard me read this one from your. I didn't see this here. I read it from your email, but we'll read it again because it's a good one. Because I didn't know you were back. Michael Beacom says C-. Rod Serling should have stepped out and said, Odo is entering a place between the summit of fantasy and the depths of misery, a place of invisibility with no escape. It is called the friend zone. Thank you so much, Michael Beacom. Anti-derivative Jill loves this episode. Not says D. I enjoyed the War for Odo discussion as well. That was fun. Right there with you, my friend. What do I do? Oh, okay. Shooter says C+. It was interesting that I didn't remember this episode, save Quark living under Odo. That brings it on a par with some of the earlier season 1 episodes on my engagement. I see what you mean. More poor Odo pining for Nerys, who enters the relationship with a new man. Nothing wrong with the episode, a decent story, but nothing we haven't had before. Yeah, I hear you there. Hear you on FM there, buddy. I also don't buy Odo losing his cool. He has watched Kira with Bareil and could see the Shakar relationship evolving. I do believe he would distance himself from Kira, though.
You know what's awesome, Shooter? Is that we never have to watch Kira dry necking with Bareil ever again with their open mouths. Wow. So disgusting. You are just so mean. So mean. No, I'm not. I don't like romance. I like science fiction. Science fiction.
Oh, dear. JT Kirk says, 1, love runabouts. 5, 1. I'm not sure what he means. One love runabout
out of 5. I find this one love runabout out of 5.
Gotcha. Oh wow, offensive on multiple levels. This is nearly Spock's brain level bat. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
JT.
Man,
A lot of people are knocking this one down. They do not like it. It's not getting a lot of liking. Wow. D minus says the great hungry boy Renee excels again, but had to deduct 3.5 Horda points for Kira being stuck in an evil person, evil grandma pantsuit. I'm not saying that name.
Yeah, you can't.
No. Even if I was being positive. Wolfie says rating B. The lovely dingy port, man. The love dingy port. The love dingy. Wow. Wolfie,
JT Kirk is now saying that we should call it the love runabout.
Yes. The love about. What are you trying to say here? What are you people trying to say about this episode? Phantom Outsider says C. It was okay. The interaction between Odo and Quark saves the episode. Only scene missing was Quark giving Odo a drink and doing the double guns, pointing him to the hollows. Reeds? There you go.
Yeah, it was a chi-chi. He got a double chi-chi because it matched his lay.
Mr. Angel.
Come on.
Wow, Mr. Angel is brutal.
Right on, chef.
By the way, we're not. Let's not rat a mouse. We better whisper.
Yeah.
We don't want him to get in trouble because C minus says Mr. Angel. Tune in next week to see Admiral Stubing pressure Kira and Gul Dukat into a love triangle with the Kosh next on Deep Love Boat number 9.
Kai,
nice
Kai,
twist.
love triangle with the Kai. Next on Deep Love Boat number 9.
Yeah, the Kai. Sorry. Let yourself in, sir.
I held my nose. I closed my eyes.
Hey,
I
everyone.
took a drink.
Yep. Well, the chief engineer is here, folks. All right, let's see. We're almost through these.
Keep on rolling.
We'll roll.
Rolling.
I give it a C minus. This was such lackluster episode. I can only barely remember ever seeing it. If I were watching it today, I would probably surf eBay for the entire episode. Yes, well, that makes sense. You probably wouldn't be the only one either. All right, let's see here. Neuranax Amanda Bear says B minus. The actors like this. The actors like this stuff. Yeah, they do. But it didn't do much for Odo's character. I wish he had been a bit more like Spock or Ron Swanson. This sad romance stuff doesn't suit his usual self or his species or Star Trek for that matter, to be honest. The Catman, aka D.D. Myers, says Clubby thought the episode wasn't that great. I give it a D. Wow. This episode always and still puts me to sleep. Think the actors and actresses did the best with what they were given here under the circumstances. Well, I hear you.
And here we have Dee the Catman pointing directly to who is at fault, and he is correct. Thank you, Dee Catman.
Yeah. And for our final review of the evening, some weirdo. We don't. So we're gonna have to ban from the chat.
The caboose. The caboose.
We know he's a weirdo because he's wearing a friggin' Santa Claus hat. 5,000.
Why are you still wearing a Santa hat?
Oh, I forgot to change it. It's still Orthodox Christmas today, isn't it?
No.
It
was yesterday.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know. Just
anyway, C minus. The title of this episode should have been Friend Zone in Space. Yes, it really should. The B plot also struggles to make up for the lack of decent main story. I don't even remember the D plot now. What was it? I can't remember. I'm not kidding. What was the D plot now? The B plot, whatever.
Oh, that was
Shakar.
Yeah.
I thought that was the assassination. I thought that was all one plot.
No.
Well, the assassination, the politics,
or non-plot. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
The only redeeming parts. It didn't seem like it was all kind of together because he was in love with her. And anyway, the only redeeming parts of this episode are the exchanges between Odo and Quark. Great character development. Odo, funny for a minute there. I thought you were talking to me as a friend. I love it. Goes, nah, that was great.
Yeah.
Oh, I love those two. Please, can we get some sci-fi next week? Please. No, I don't think so.
Please.
I don't know which the next one is. Oh, yeah, I do. In fact, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah,
I'll answer that question right now.
Ask and you shall receive.
All right. So Next week's episodes, by the way, my friends, will be Return to Grace. So no, you're not getting a lot of science fiction there. Sons of Moog, no, not a lot of science fiction there. But we're not going to say whether they're good or bad. Which is Barca, no, and sorta. So if you want some science fiction, yeah, it's going to be a few and far between. Just saying. We're not. That's a little spoiler alert for everybody. So,
Gene Roddenberry, I know you can hear me somewhere. I know it's possible, so I'm just going to say to you now, Gene, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for these people, Gene. I love you, Gene, and I'm sorry.
I'm watching these episodes because I'm reviewing them, so it's almost like watching them for work in a sense. But I went back to start binging Enterprise again because I wanted to watch a Star Trek show, and a show that feels more like Trek. I love DS9, and we're criticizing it, but I wanted to watch something that felt like episodic Star Trek, and I could watch the original series a million times, but I just thought, just for the hell of it, I would just start. Now I've watched Enterprise quite a lot, so I mean, I like that feel.
I love that everyone is now watching it the way that I watch it, and it's so funny because an entirely different opinion emerges when you strip away all of the internet fan lore, all the factoids and all the BS that people make up and all the weird excuses and strange social media arguments over what's true and what's not. You strip all that away and people aren't just focusing on their favorite episodes, and they watch it from beginning to end like I do every year in a completely linear fashion. And it is just, it amazes me how it transforms people's opinions and their sense of knowing and their sense of curating Star Trek. I love it. I think it's great. It's been so fun for me. Miserable
Armin
for
Bashir
everyone.
is still an A++. Just kidding.
Dad man.
No, you're 100% right. 100%
You're too
right.
kind, buddy. Thank you so much for the 199 super chat from the great Dad man. I'm paying for Mark to keep the Santa hat all year.
Kate, I have to put this up
All
on the marquee because this is a really sweet message, and I love Tony Stark. Look at what he said.
Gene, go ahead. You can read it. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Gene, like all disembodied consciousness, hears you, Professor Briggs. The quantum resonance from your sound waves reverberates loud and clear. Indeed.
Aww.
Indeed. And not only that, hello, Lynn Barnett. I don't know if I've seen Lynn Barnett before. I'm not sure we've seen you here before, Lynn, but good to see you. Here's one thing I can tell you about Tony Stark. Not to embarrass you or anything, Tony Stark, but Tony Stark makes you feel that he's a cool exec with a heart of steel. But as Iron Man, all jets ablaze, he fights and fights with repulsor rays. Amazing armor, Iron Man, a blazing armor. That's Iron Man. At least I didn't sing it in the girl's voice like I usually do. Because that's the song for the Iron Man cartoon.
Very cool.
Very nice. Yeah.
Oh, Len, that is very kind of you to say. Thank you so much and welcome.
Good to see you, Len. So we'll see here.
Well, I would say, yeah, that this is what DS9 is, right? We know we're not going to get much sci-fi in space, just stories in the Star Trek universe, set in space.
Yeah.
With some sci-fi themes once in a while. So on that front, thankfully, we've got all these great actors and there's some great, character moments. It's almost like Cheers in space, where you get, everyone knows your name and they're all become good friends. And, but that last episode where they're trying to ship, Odo and Kira together, that was just so out of character and just so poorly done. That's when, gradually you can kind of get those characters together, maybe. But just to try to make it happen all in one episode and just so out of character for Odo there. So
and there's nothing else there, Mark. It's like you were saying in your reply to us. There's nothing else there. Boss man, you have a gift from Tony Stark.
I know. I can't just interrupt Mark. But actually I could, but
you could, yeah. You're too nice.
He might put his Santa Claus hat on.
Poor Clark.
I changed my avatar.
Thank you so much, Tony. Please don't. No, I'm just kidding. You can do whatever you want. Your avatar. Here's a $5. Love you guys. I got a version for that song on my show. Oh, you do?
Oh.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, love
nice.
It. Thank you, Tony Stark. Appreciate that, my friend.
Yeah.
Let's see. Valentine's. Cheers, but Replace Norm with Morn. Yeah, pretty much. It is Morn. Who mourns for Morn? Morn is based on Norm.
He is. That's a fact. That's not.
Cool. It's your opening theme. Love it.
Oh,
yes,
cool,
he is based on Norm.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, the total lack of and making Odo like. Yeah, it's just so out of character. You want Odo to be strong and dignified. I mean, Odo's character is based on this very high level of dignity, and he's a very principled person who is always after the truth. He'll even put aside rules if he knows that something good or truthful must occur, and he has to facilitate it. So, seeing him so weak and feeble and insufferable and very childish and just it's so weird, and it's absolutely terrible. I'm sure one of our genius 735ers will find the Love Boat episode this one matches, because it matches, Mark. It matches. Anyway.
I'm sure it does. Yeah. It's just a shame that, but I guess it's part of having you're on a space station, right? So that's part of the problem there.
A space station.
So
sorry, wrong franchise.
Wrong franchise.
Yes, wrong franchise. But yeah, I still love it. Don't get me wrong, I really do. I guess mainly, but I got to admit, mostly for the characters. And by the way, it's cool that there is a show that deals with that kind of thing, because Babylon 5 and they're both good shows. It's just that I gravitate a little bit more towards original series, or even something, that's more. There's something about that I love. The whole idea they're out there in space and episodic science fiction stories.
Yeah,
and they're not dealing with relationships and that kind of stuff. But the fact is, that was a different time in TV. Television now, or television after a certain point, like in the 80s into the 90s or whatever, was never made ever again, probably, that didn't deal with, at least in sometimes, like relationships and characters getting together, or characters having tension, sexual tension, that sort of thing, or characters having, stories about their lives and their relationship. They just don't make TV like that. They just stop writing TV like that. Even on The Next Generation, which, in its better episodes just dealt with your one story for 40 something minutes. It didn't really, go there. They had a lot of episodes that did character stuff and slice of life stuff. Now, it's not invalid to do things that are like in your Star Trek show that are something like slice of life for the 24th century. In other words, showing not necessarily a deep science fiction story, but a story that kind of gives you an idea what it feels like to live in that that time. I don't think that's invalid or a problem either, but I still would rather see the way the original series did it. The closest we've got to that was TNG when it was doing it like that, not all the time when it did. And of course, Enterprise, which did it a lot, especially the first 2 seasons. It was almost purely that.
You mean Data's Day?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They didn't do it all the time on TNG, but they did it sometimes.
Yeah.
They did it a lot. Where on Enterprise, I mean, if you think of it, they really only started putting like character involvement with each other, like relationship type crap, in the 4th season, which everyone loves so much. With the Trip and T'Pol stuff, which I didn't mind it that much because it didn't destroy stories. But you notice how, if you think about it, they didn't do it at all for 3 years, really.
Yeah.
As far as nobody was into anybody else. There were the crew. Once in a while, one looks like on the original series, like Kirk would have some kind of dalliance with some kind of a love interest in an episode, and that was it. She's gone with the next episode. On Enterprise, they did it the same way. And even on TNG, they mostly did that the same way at that point. But when you get your Deep Space Nine crew, now you got people who are on the crew all interested in each other. Or not all, but a lot of them interested in each other.
Yeah.
That creates soap opera.
It does, and it's so annoying. And Shooter has a request, boss.
Oh, all right, Shooter.
And he's paying for it.
Yeah, well,
he's
that was
for it.
necessary, but thank you for that. Now. Yeah, we don't charge around here, but I mean, we still appreciate you when you do that.
Yeah.
Thank you. So,
thanks, Shooter. Can you play it for him, boss?
I will, but I got to get to it. Hey,
all right.
Got to find it.
Thank you so much for that, Shooter.
Where did I put? Oh, there we go.
Never gets old. You make look good.
Once you deserve it twice.
And TOS had, the occasional, wasn't always exploration, or you had, like court martial, or, I'm just trying to think of episodes that didn't have, that grand, meet the alien or some kind of mystery. But I mean, it was very few and far between. It was most of the time you were getting hard sci-fi, and of course you got the Harry Mudd episodes thrown in there for fun. But even those had some, science fiction tenets in them. But so it doesn't mean that you can't have. Doesn't every week doesn't have to be,
you just have to be careful how much you do it, right?
Well, there's a way to do it, because look at tonight's episode. I mean, it's Crossfire, right? That episode exists for one purpose: the Odo shipping to I mean, that's what it's all about, right?
So
Whereas,
much
for example, I love a show called Eureka that I watched recently. It has relationships going on, but there's still always a big science fiction story going on, and that stuff they deal with over time. That's what they use their arc time for all those relationship things that are going on like normal life, which we expect. There's almost never an episode that doesn't have a science fiction plot running through it. In fact, I can't think of one. But they have episodes. Sure, they have people in love with each other. They have the romance stuff, which is part of life. It happens, okay? But they never sacrifice whole episodes that I can think of anyway for that, which they do it all the time on this show. They sacrifice an whole episode just so they can do this thing with Kira or this thing with later with, I don't want to spoil anything, like, Dax and you know what I'm talking about, the relationship stuff. If you're going to have it, still have a story and weave it through your story, and and also make it tie into your story. Like two episodes are having they're having some kind of problem with their relationship, and then something happens that distracts them from it, or they get involved with an actual freaking science fiction story.
It's important when you're saying this sort of thing, that one of the things that I want to point out to people, because I want them to sort of see where I'm coming from, is this idea of receipts or evidence. And if you walk back over these 4 seasons, I want you to make a little check mark in your head for every single time someone has had sex with somebody else on the station who's a part of the crew or an alien. And so the central theme becomes this, how many people is Jadzia gonna have sex with? How many people is Kira gonna have sex with? And how many people is this person going to have sex with? I mean, at one point, Cisco has sex with his entire staff in what I love to call the Negaverse, because, right. I have, my offspring used to watch that show, and I think it's cute. But I agree. Like, when I'm not going to lie, when the Trip and T'Pol stuff happened, I actually found it really good. I liked it. I wasn't annoyed by it. And I also thought that there was some sexual tension between her and Archer. So it sort of felt like, okay, this ship is super small. It's super realistic. This is the kind of ship you're going to bang your head in. This is very NASA. And so you have all of these intimacies,
and it did take a long time to get from there to here.
Yes.
Sorry.
You're not funny. And I have to say this for Larry, because I love you. Oh, Miles. No, I had to do that for Larry.
I couldn't resist.
And here's the thing about that.
That's okay, Mark. I love you.
The Trip Paul romance was there, but they grooved it over time. And I can't think of one episode where that was the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. You could look. I know you don't like romance stuff, but romance exists in the human condition, so it's going to be in stories. It doesn't, but if you want stories that are just about that, there are plenty of things out there for you.
That's right. And hear me out here when I say this. When I see them rubbing one another with hot oil, and I see them meditating together, basically doing like what would be tantamount to like these heavy meditation sessions, you see this deep connection developing between them. There's sexual chemistry between them. It seems natural, and it's hot, and it's nice to watch. And so when I have sci-fi and there's a little bit of sex in it and it's believable, I feel good, and I'm like, okay, that fits in. And that's that's why I don't criticize Enterprise the same way. But you can't compare that to the gross, bizarro world dry kissing where they're switching their heads back and forth like they're Lego pieces with Kira and Bareil. It's just so gross to watch.
Wow.
You know, she is trying to, you know, dry hump a priest. Like, I don't want to watch that. Why am I watching this? Anyway, it's
Tony
what
Stark.
I'm saying. You know, I'm just saying. Just saying.
Tony Stark, have a good one. Thanks for being here, my friend.
Good night,
Go ahead,
Tony
go
Stark.
ahead, Mark. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, as I say, you know, your back is bad. Maybe T'Pol makes house calls.
I hope so.
You know, yeah, that'd be nice, right? Make a transporter in. Yeah. Fix that back, right? That's what. No, there
Yeah.
was a lot of great chemistry, and it didn't happen. You know, in the first 10 episodes, they developed that story over time, and there was real conflict in there. It was, they
Trip
felt
and
they
T'Pol
felt
were at war early.
Yeah,
I loved
true.
it.
and then they didn't want to rush right in, and then they said, what are the ethics of this, and what's
That's
Right.
right.
how does
Mark.
that all the implications, and
A lot of people thought it was going to be Archer and T'Pol, and then
yeah.
And
So
that
it
was
was-
great because it became the unspoken love triangle. And then without fleshing it out, without making it melodramatic and gross, it didn't become grody.
Right.
He backed away and they had this beautiful rapport where you could tell that he really loved her and admired her, but had a professional relationship. And so for me, that's very realistic. I can buy that. That's the kind of romance I can buy. But not the weird priest with a lady and the Lego head back and forth. Like, it looks like Lego
Lego
heads. You know what I mean? Like, and their
The
mouths
Lego
are
heads.
totally open and it's dry and it's, what am I watching? Why am I watching this? This is terrible.
And there was no
Awful.
chemistry. There's no chemistry there. There's nothing to make you.
No.
So, like we always talk about moonlighting with Maddie and David, and there was some super chemistry there, and then the show was ruined once they got when they got together on moonlighting.
Yes.
Yeah,
So, but-
Mark.
True.
So
yeah,
the
that's true.
tension's actually better a lot of times, or maybe a less revealing outfit is actually more interesting, in the long run.
Yeah.
When they just we got to ship these two characters together because they're on the station together. I mean, yeah, people do meet at work, a lot, obviously, and
That's
the
that
nature of
does
life.
happen.
See, it's better with Cisco and Cassidy Yates because she can be a recurring once in a while character. She doesn't
Yeah.
live on the station.
Mhm.
She goes off. I think at least that works a little bit better. You can, because people are going to have relationships in real life. So yeah, fine. On a station, it's different than a starship. Like Kirk would never allow himself to have a relationship.
Yeah.
And Picard, did neither.
Yeah.
But Robert April, had his wife on the ship.
Yeah.
Fine. Pike wouldn't do it either, by the way. Most of those captains don't. A space station is a little bit different.
Yep.
I guess. So, I mean, he had his son there already. But again, Cassidy, you could build that one up over time because you could just say the character's not a member of the main crew. If she were a member of the main crew, it just is so much more of a problem.
Yeah, I never liked the kids on the Enterprise D and whole families, and it just doesn't make sense on a vessel like that. That's not if you're doing research within the Federation and you're not going to go into dangerous areas. But could you? What family would take? What parents would take their young kids into a war zone or a difficult, scary situation?
Or even a science vessel. Like, think about it. Like, all three of us on this panel, we're all parents. Imagine knowing that, you're going to Farpoint and, there could be some type of deadly disease that is not even known to humanity. And, it spreads all over the ship and kills your kid. Like, it's just, I don't think that people understand that when you love science fiction and you have a very science driven mind or imagination, they think that you're picking it apart and you're being a jerk, but it's actually just keep my science fiction. Don't try and introduce all of these elements that appeal to the public so that you can have bigger ratings and a bigger audience, because at the same time you turn your show into Swiss cheese. It suddenly has all of these holes in it that people don't respect. And so if you make it for everyone, it becomes a show for no one, because no one will watch it anymore. It's the everything show. It's the mixed bag of dirt show, and that's not what I'm into.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
not good, but we do
Yeah.
love the show in the long run, and it's
I
got
do
some
love
great
the show.
arcs coming up.
It's
Yeah,
got great characters. There's no question about it. I mean, again,
I
like I say,
do.
even that crappy episode there, you got good things because Renee's just so terrific. The Odo and Quark stuff. Well,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's again, it is not purely a science fiction show. In the science fiction setting. It's a drama. It's in the science fiction setting, which is still that's valid. It's fine to do that.
Yeah.
Obviously because we're not here to, we're dissecting the episode by episode. Of course, it's going to be criticism.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right. But I think it's also a vindication of people who, upon rewatch, sort of move the episodes and move the iterations around as far as prioritizing what they think is better and best. So how you're forming, like one thing Trekkies always do, 735ers anyway, is we always talk about what's your order. And in previous times on the internet, there would be no way where we could have a beautiful conversation like this filled with a room full of other Trekkies and talk about how our order shapes up and how it changes sometimes. We're at a different time in our life. We view different aspects of the episode and gravitate towards those different ideas and so on and so forth. So I think it's a vindication. A lot of people are really hot and heavy to like be super angry with Enterprise, and they hate it. And it's okay that you're wrong. I don't mind. You can be wrong about things.
I've never understand
right.
it. I loved it from the beginning, and again, but some
Me
people
too.
at least warmed up to it later. I went right now
I
just for
warmed
the
up
hell
to
of
it
it.
later.
I went back just now, just watching the first season again, and I really love it. I mean,
it's a great show. I loved it since
I
day
just
one.
love the characters. It just feels like more closer to the original show than any of the other ones.
You're darn right, and I've been saying that for years. And it's so funny because you have these these people who call themselves hardcore Trekkies, but they only watch the cherry pick shows that they love so very much, and then they sort of condemn Enterprise. But if you watch the whole 735, a different picture takes shape about what the focus of the writing was, how the writing team portrayed Gene Roddenberry's vision. What is genre, and how far can you stretch genre, and how many genres can you sort of throw into this bag and in this mixed bag of a show? And so a different picture emerges once you watch the whole thing in order. And I love that you guys are doing this the way I do it. It's so much fun for me because I think there's a greater lesson in there too about being caretakers of genre and making sure that you keep science fiction writers writing science fiction, and Enterprise is good. So
love it.
Pooey on Yui.
Yeah, I stopped watching in the beginning and then
Yeah.
streamed it when you guys did your show on Enterprise. What was it, 3 years ago now or something?
Wow, a couple years.
Yeah.
Or at least a couple years. And I said, let me go.
Yeah.
I've never finished watching Enterprise, or I'd watched, but you miss a few episodes here and there. And
Sure.
the third season actually was really good, and they have some really interesting aliens. They got the aliens that have live
totally
underwater with the ship.
I totally agree.
And the bug aliens. I'm forgetting the
Aquarians.
names.
Yes.
Yeah,
the
thank you.
Cindy. They're the
Cindy.
Yeah, but those are the aquarium, the Cindy's or
Yeah,
whatever.
That's right.
Or
It was
whatever.
really
something like
interesting.
that. Yeah.
It's
We
really
haven't seen
interesting
anything
because
like that in Trek since. I mean,
yeah, it's what's really cool about that is that it gets into this scientific idea that what evolved on those planets and what evolves on other planets may not be humanoid, number one, and number two species or 3 species or 4 species can emerge with the capability of language and creating things. And so I absolutely love that too. It's just like, oh, they brought back all the science fiction. I'm going places again. I'm having a ball. This is great. Let's go. Strange new worlds. Let's go. So good.
yeah, and the bug aliens and the I don't know if anyone remembers the game Starflight, which was kind of a clone. Well, the idea was a clone of Star Trek. It was a
No.
graphical DOS game. It's one of my all-time favorite games, Starflight. And they had 4 or 5 different races in there. And of course, I always made my crew up to be the Star Trek crew. But they had like a bug-like race. I think that was better at engineering, and the race was better at communicating. But it was basically a Star Trek exploration episode, game, and it was just so much fun. And they had these cool aliens, and now, really, we don't talk about the quote unquote new stuff, but they've done nothing, groundbreaking, makeup wise, or anything really cool that you could have done with all this new tech. So, those when I first saw those Aquarians, it's like, wow, that's awesome. That's really cool. They used some primitive CGI, but it worked, and it was pretty neat to see. So
Yeah.
Look at this comment right here. This is the whole reason why I love doing this show with Clobby. I'm going to put it up in the marquee. You see this person?
Max could talk.
I love this
What we
person.
do.
This person has been with us since the beginning. It's if you're listening as an old time radio show or podcast. He says, imagine if insects could talk. What would we do? And this is what science fiction is supposed to do to us. And this is what we're supposed to do with it. Exactly what is doing here. This is why I love science fiction. And this is why I get turned off by the romance and everything else, because I want us to be caretakers of this genre. And these are the amazing conversations that science fiction create, and I just absolutely love you.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Angel, I know it's controversial, but we'll put it up there anyway. It says, controversial opinion, Enterprise is the best Star Trek show of them all. I bloody love that show. Well, I still favor the original series, but it's probably my second favorite. And that's a very unpopular opinion. I mean, I see even in our chat, some of our good friends don't like it, which is perfectly fine.
That's fine.
I've never understood any of the hate of it. I love it. I guess because what it was sure they did recycle some different plots here and there that were done on the old show, but I think they did a better job in some cases. But the point is, they had better characters to me. These characters were just, I don't know, I really liked them, but it's perfectly fine to like or dislike anything. I don't know. I like the idea. It was just it was the beginnings of, it was showing Starfleet from before there was a Starfleet. It was the very first ship, and they were out there, didn't know what they were doing. And a lot of people say they didn't like it to the 4th season. I liked the 4th season, but I think there were too many like multi-parters and arcs type stuff, and they started like the 3rd season had its faults because it was dealing with the big long season-long stories, which I didn't care much for. But some of the standalone episodes that had nothing to do with the Xindi story, the Xindi arc, were actually the best ones. So there are episodes, plenty, just like in the original series of Enterprise, just like the original series, that I didn't like either. But for the most part, I do love that show.
I love what Larry is saying here, because this is what has happened to me over the years. I grew up in the 70s. And so for me, I've been with Star Trek since the beginning. And I had all of these opinions and all of these preconceived notions as the internet developed. But then the more that I rewatched these things, and the more they were put into the context of the things that the people who were involved with making the show, and why things were broken, and that they were broken on purpose because people didn't like Gene Roddenberry, or they didn't want to be on the show, or they wanted to change the show into something they wanted. I definitely agree with Larry here. For me, TOS is always going to be the best. I believe it is the greatest television show that has ever been made. It is the best television show. You will not find better than TOS. And I believe that TAS comes right after, and then I do think it's Enterprise. But that's the place that I am in my life right now. And it's also got to do with how things are evolving in the press when we see them defiling Star Trek on purpose, saying negative things about certain episodes, sort of trying to rewrite history. It turns you off of TNG. And DS9 is nice and everything. I think it's adorable, but it's a drama. And then you see Voyager, and then you see all the things that, that she's saying about her character and calling Gene Roddenberry misogynist and stuff. And it does turn you off. And let's face it, Voyager is terrible. And we're going to get to that. And we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to treat it fairly. But I love what Larry has said here, because it's so true. An entirely different image of TNG and Voyager has emerged due to this horrible toxic thing that has happened with the filth. And so it has forced me to make a reordering of my prioritized list that I wouldn't even be able to fathom, even just 10 years ago. Just 10 years ago.
Shooter, you might be surprised. At first, I thought it was the absolute wrong, bad decision to make that theme song. I still think it was a bad decision to use that theme song for Enterprise. But I don't hate the song. I mean, it's good. It's a sappy song. It's okay. I personally think they should have just used Archer's theme like they were originally going to, and then put that like as maybe the end credit song or something like that. But I don't hate it. I actually don't hate it. I mean, I think it's fine, silly, sappy song. However, it doesn't ruin anything for me, but some people really, really hate it, which is fine. What's interesting is the other day I found this video somewhere, and I don't know, can't find a link to it now, but I forgot where I put it, that took the opening credits, the visuals for Enterprise opening credits, and put the theme to First Contact, Jerry Goldsmith's beautiful theme to Star Trek First Contact, and it looked perfect. It looked wow. That was beautiful. Now, someone's also put Archer's theme to those. It looks perfect too. Personally, I don't think you needed anything with lyrics for that.
Doesn't work for me.
Well, yeah. Plus, when they later on when they tried to speed it up to make it "quote unquote" cooler, I thought it was actually even worse.
The visuals are wonderful, though. The
visuals are amazing.
It's true because I think that the most important thing is that we have these beautiful orchestras and beautiful orchestrations, and we have these gorgeous, glorious, soaring compositions that help people who like this genre, we gravitate towards that. So I think that once you put in a rock song, I think it spoils it. But I don't like anachronistic stuff either. But I do have to tell you, I'm outgunned in my house. So I want you to know that that my husband and my offspring absolutely love that song. And I hate it. And so when I watch it every year, and they have to obviously sort of watch it with me, because they'll walk in the room, oh, you're doing you're watching, you're doing your thing. then they start to sing it to me because they both love Enterprise.
That's
cool.
Yeah. Cool. So I get tonight, as a matter of fact, before I came on air, my husband was singing "It's Been a Long Road."
It's been a long road.
Getting from there to here.
The longer version of that song, which is on the soundtrack that I bought back then, it's a pretty good song as far as just a kind of a dopey song to listen on the radio. But look, it doesn't really fit. No matter how, even if you like the song, you got to admit it's not the right choice. I should have used Archer's theme, which is really great.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, man, I think it would have been even a better idea, or close, to use Jerry Goldsmith's First Contact. I mean, why not? I mean, in TNG used Goldsmith's motion picture theme.
Mm-hmm.
So, why not? They use his TMP theme. So Jerry Goldsmith's theme to First Contact is beautiful. It's a wonderful piece of music, and it would have been great for. So I've got to find that video somewhere. It's pretty cool. I don't know where it wasn't on YouTube, but there was somebody. I linked it to somewhere. I don't know what I did with it now. Theme song for Enterprise, and never really bothered me, but I definitely agree that Archer's theme is better yet. The First Contact theme, unbelievable. Not a good decision, but it's over. It doesn't hurt the show for me. It doesn't kill the show for me. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's only the intro, really. I mean, and then if you can always turn the volume down and just enjoy the visuals. So
Yep.
Yeah, and it's horrible because it grows on you like that. Like the horrible things that are repeated over and over and over again in popular radio. But you know, Mark does raise a good point, and it's funny is I think that's actually how we started becoming friends with Mark. Clobby and I met about 2.5 years ago, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. You guys would have to go and check the time and the date snaps. But Clobby, when Clobby first approached me to talk about Star Trek, just to hang out, we met on Twitter. We did a show called In Defense of Enterprise. And I'm not sure when we did it.
Yeah.
I don't remember when we did it. It was before we started this show together.
Yes, it was one of our earliest shows we did together.
Yeah, so and we had a great time. I think it was like a 5-hour show.
It was fun. Yeah.
It's like it cemented my friendship with Clobby, and I was like, oh my God. And I think I was on camera for the whole show.
You might have been, yeah.
That's back then. Yeah.
It's in my playlist.
Yeah, and so it's there if you'd like to watch it. But we actually use rhetoric to defend Enterprise, and we defend it against its detractors and everything they have to say about it. So we talk about the thing about recycling episodes, and we talk about the fact that TNG also recycled a whole bunch of TOS episodes and things like that. So if you'd like to hear what we have to say, be really cool if you went back and watched In Defense of Enterprise, and you're going to hear more of that goodness when we get to Enterprise, which we will be covering again. It's going to be glorious.
Well, here's a link if you want to go watch that. Well, thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Kal-El. Kal-El found the video that has the Enterprise opening, but with the First Contact theme. You got to watch that. It's really cool if you want to see. Yeah. So thanks, buddy. All right, let's do our. We're going to do some no real show notes other than I'll be back here. I'll be back here Monday night with some Monday Night Mark C Comics talk. I'm not sure what yet, but Mark D with the C, are you bringing back the Geekery tomorrow night?
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night. Last week was with family and kids back from college, so I gave everyone a break last week, so we'll be back for that. So look for us tomorrow night hanging out. And I just I got a new phaser in today. So I'm going to be reviewing. I did a quick video on it, but here's the. Well, I'll turn my camera on for 2 seconds. It won't take much time.
Okay.
But here's the new.
I mean, horrible camera. You know?
Oh my God!
You do that for a second. I got to stand up for a minute. I'm in some bad pain.
Yeah, we gotta let
Mike,
Clobby
take
go.
a break.
No. I just got to do it now because I can't wait.
What? Like, can't you mail those to me? Just give those to me. I'll take them.
Sorry, I got to get that package to you soon.
So now you have both. You have both of the
Diamond
replicas.
Select.
You have the dark gray and the black and the light gray.
Yeah, and I had the white one too. I'm trying to figure out where that one went. And another
the white
horrible
one
story.
was annoying.
It was annoying, but I was trick or treating one year.
Yeah.
And it fell off my belt, and I lost one of the phasers. I shouldn't tell you that, but so this is the new Playmates one, and it's not as good as the Diamond Select, obviously, but it's pretty darn good.
Select
so
is the best.
So what you can do here with this guy, you can change the dial on the back. You can go to self-destruct.
Oh, wow. Wow. I'm so jelly. I can't afford to get one of these right now. I just can't afford it.
And then you can go to this is full power mode, the blue.
Yeah. Good sound.
And red is a stun.
Vic, Diamond Select for me is the gold standard in prop replication. That's the one that I buy. I love it. Obviously it's not available anymore, but I love it.
So the difference is you're not going to do a full review on these. This is the Diamond
Yeah, you
Select.
need
It's
to.
definitely better. It's more realistic in terms of the size.
Yeah.
The fins on the back go out, and then the cool thing is, check this out.
What? Yeah.
It turns into the Type 1 into the Type 2.
Yeah, it's supposed to. Yeah. Beauty.
And you can turn the wheel actually turns on the top here, so you can actually change the. If I turn the light down, you can.
You should.
It gives you a good close shave.
Mark.
Yeah, good.
Mark, you have to shut off your crisp.
Oh, I got to turn off crisp. Thank you. Yep.
Yes, please, honey.
Let me turn that off. There we go. So now you should be able to hear it, I guess. Yep.
Yeah, you want to try that again, please, boss? Oh, it's good. It sounds good.
Very cool.
God. So you're going to do a comparison?
Yeah, I'll do a full video.
And
Here's
so
the
it
sound.
will be the Playmates versus the Diamond Select?
Yeah, Playmates versus Diamond
Oh
Select.
my God, I need to watch
But I think the
that.
Playmate, the quick takeaway is anyone who can get the Playmates one, I'd say it's a buy.
Yeah.
It's only about $25 or $30. So
For Americans.
For Americans, yeah.
Right.
So it's not as good as the Diamond Select, but the Diamond Select you can't get any more, unfortunately. And
yeah.
Cool.
But I think it's pretty darn close.
Wow.
So it's pretty nice. So, and then this one I can take out of the house and not worry about as much as the Diamond Select. The Type 1 can disconnect sometimes, and it's much tougher to get this.
Always put it off because it's not welcome in the con. So like I kept putting it off getting the Diamond Select because if you can't cause it because it's not allowed in the con building.
Why is it not allowed in the con?
It's a weapon.
It's a gun. That's ridiculous.
What?
It doesn't look like a gun. It's so terrible.
I've never heard. Yeah.
Stupid cons.
Oh, that happens at lots of cons all over the world, Mark. Yep. Sometimes though it's really great because they'll hire somebody like Lord Thoth and they'll be like, look, you're a member of the RCMP. Would you please come and hang out and would you please orange flag them? So they actually take that construction orange tape that they have that's not sticky, but they call it tape. The stuff they tie on stuff.
Tape or
right.
Yeah, they take that and they'll tie that to whatever weapon the police officer says is okay to go inside of the convention center. And yeah, it's just meant so that people
all you have to do is inspect it for 2 seconds.
Yeah, but it happens all over the world. So anyway, that's
why they came up with the vacuum cleaner one.
Yeah, well, that's why I kept putting it off, is because if it's not con approved and I can't cause it, what am I supposed to do, right? So I put it off and put it off and put it off. Like eventually I have to get the Diamond Select, but now I'm going to pay like 50 million times the price for it. It sucks.
Yeah, unfortunately, that one's especially if you get it in the box. You get it loose, it's a little bit cheaper, but it can get banged up too, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad.
All right, everybody, we're gonna say our goodbyes now. Or let's see here.
Enabling. I'm going to Flea Bay right now, Mark. Damn it,
Check
Mark.
it out.
I want to
check it out.
Shout out.
Can you play the Dead Man Walking clip where he goes, "Damn it, Mark"? Oh no, it has a swear in it. Don't do it.
Oh yeah, I got it right here.
Wait, but that's only the first 8 seconds.
Never that way.
God damn it, Mark! Jeez.
That was Clobbing, not me.
So
all right, well, everybody, thank you so much for being here tonight. Time for our shout outs. So we'll get out of here after we do that. First of all, the great Wrench crew always gets the shout out because we love you guys, appreciate everything you do for us. The great Eric K. Hope that power comes on again, buddy. You're probably not hearing us now because he doesn't have it, but the Bronze Wrencher, buddy, and the great Chris Persia had to run. But you get the shout out here whether you've run out or we know you've run out or not because you had to run. But that is what happened? Oh, all right. Anyway, yes, Chris Persia, the great one. D. Bud Martin had to run as well. Thank you, buddy, for being here. Appreciate you. The great Lord Thoth and Lady Thoth. Avon lives. Long live the Legion, my friend. Hungry boy. Thank you so much, buddy, as always. Appreciate you. Fanty Outsider. And J-Man. The Wrench Without Fear. Cal L, buddy, thanks for all you do. Super Wrench. And, of course, Thor from Vegas. Maddie's daddy. And Apollo's Minion and the Pupper were here tonight, too. So let's always get a chance to show a picture of the pupper. Now, let me see for our shout outs, everybody. Hang on 1 second. Let's get a roll on here. Ba-ba-bop. All right. Oh, Michael Beacom, thank you, buddy. You're too kind. Thank you for that. Appreciate you for the $2 super chat. Good night. Be seeing you. All right. Let's see. Ba-ba-bop-bop. Let me see. I got to check off some of these before I get rolling. Okay, Shooter. Thanks for being here tonight, Shooter, buddy. Stuart Mitchell. Appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for being here. Classic Comics. Thank you, CC. Mr. Angel. Chef, get better, feel better soon. And shout out to all those wonderful nurses that are helping our good buddy, Mr. Angel. Michael Carney. Thank you for being here. Michael Beacom and the wonderful Cassandra. Shout out to you. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you. Raymond Feliciano and Sandra. Thank you. Seth Ross. JT Kirk. Michelle Workenhansen. Congratulations again. J.D. Lewis. Captain Infinity and Beyond. Bush McFadden. Picasso. Dave G. Sound. Captain James T. Skywalker. Wolfie. The Catman, a.k.a. E.D. Myers. Brandon, the anime guy. Cardinal Sin. Thank you, Cardi. Bubba Doom 1. DJ Ronnie G. Paul Listro. Thank you. Stokely Jatoon. The Great Enigmatic Drop Bear. Victor Fontaine. Nerat and Amanda Bear. Keely Chout. Roll Tide. Larry. Katie Dax. Max Redstone. Tim's Talk. Midnight's Oblivion. Cavaccino, Cavaliman Shea. Cam. Snail Messiah. Real Wade Nation. Mr. Tickle Trunk. Lemon Pie. Dearest. Rod Thunderheart. Brett Cohen. Let's see here. Up in here. Let's see. Dad Man Walking. Good to see you, buddy. Alara Carolson. Minimusness. Tony Stark. And Lynn Barnett. Thank you. I think we got everybody. I hope I didn't miss anybody. We try not to. Happens sometimes. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here with us tonight. And now, please enjoy these closing messages and end credits and have a fantastic remainder of your weekend. Clobber on, clobberers.
forth, clobbering, back and forth, clobbering, then Tracy, Alan if you proceed, Alan you'll come with me.
I just love clobbering time.